Good, man. We got to check in on Cappy. I called him. I'm a little disappointed he didn't pick up the phone.
What's going on with Cappy again?
Now, is he having the colonoscopy today?
Okay. Yes.
It's today.
Oh, it's today.
Yes, it's today.
Is it afternoon, morning?
I'm guessing right now. Like
Okay.
maybe he's out.
Maybe he's listening to the show in his dream.
But we need to check in on him. I want to know if everything went okay. You know, he's getting it on both ends, as he described it. Endoscopy and colonoscopy. That's a direct quote.
He's gonna have a story.
You a freak, man.
He's gonna have a story.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, it's gonna be a story.
Well, it's the
He's
best.
already started it.
Have you ever had one?
No, it's approaching.
It's the
time.
best sleep you'll ever have.
Oh my God.
It is. I understand why people who take that stuff, I'm not that I'm condoning it, but I understand people who when they get addicted to that stuff, why they would get addicted to it. Because you literally will be out for a while, at least a couple hours, and it feels like 2 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's already started the group
You
text
feel rested.
by saying, guys, colonoscopy prep really sucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But he texted this morning, so that's why I thought maybe it was tomorrow.
Well, he was talking about all the fasting, and then he had to drink the stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
the stuff.
The stuff. He said he had to
talking about
mix
the
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll find out. We'll
magic
find
elixir.
out where
All right.
Cappy is. In the meantime, the Lakers have basically struck out in free agency.
Yeah, man, I feel bad.
Do you? You're a Warriors fan. Do you really feel bad? It's
No,
okay. You don't have to lie.
Because
Well,
I
you got a
feel
lot of
like
Laker friends.
I got a lot of Laker friends, so it's like the group chat been lit all weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the group chat has been like, "See, dog, look what he doing to us," and I'm like, because everything is always gonna be on LeBron.
Wait, what is he doing to us?
Well, yeah,
He
like,
just offered to take a pay cut.
yeah, he's offered it, but it to one of my boys is just like, look, nobody wants to play with LeBron, but nobody wants to say it publicly. That is something that no one ever talks about. No one wants to play with LeBron because no matter what, you go to the Lakers and what happened, you become a scapegoat more so than a better player. Tell me a player that has signed with the Lakers that have walked away as a better player than when they first got there. It just doesn't happen. This is spewing from my buddies who are Laker fans. Like, look, if Klay Thompson went there, he would be number one scapegoat of, see, we shouldn't have signed him. We did it. You know what I mean? Because there's no way you can win or even outshine.
So are
Bron.
you saying they're at the same place they were with Kobe at the end?
Absolutely.
Where it's just like guys are like, yeah, it's just not
like,
worth it.
You don't want to go there. And I think that we all here in Los Angeles, like your Laker fans, we still have this look of like, man, it's the Lakers. It's the purple and gold. It's banner 17. We about to get to 18. Like, everybody wants to be a Laker. Everybody wants, and I think the way that it's starting to happen, like, are you really getting the top guys now? Remember, before top guys would be beating down the door to be a Laker.
Well, the first few
those
years,
guys? Yeah.
they had they got guys, right? Like, and they won a championship. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that was guys was coming here to just they put that team together.
well, the
Not
first
like-
I'm talking about the first year was a mess, but when they traded for AD, they put a real team together.
That was, and then you saw what happened. And then what happened after they put a team together? They broke it all up.
They broke it. Well, the next year
Because
LeBron got hurt.
It was a bunch of one-year deal guys.
Right.
It wasn't. That team was never built for the future. That team was built. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that because KCP was on that team and KCP's been really good since.
And he been gone, but he was gone though. Like,
and Kuzma,
he was never there for the future. That's what I'm saying. Everybody was there to like. Let's
no,
win.
they were all short-term deals.
Sure, that's what I'm
I'll
saying.
give you that. But
That's
you
the part
could
I'm
have
saying.
kept that team together. And the following year they were 21-6. LeBron rolls his ankle on Solomon Hill. I'll never forget it. Atlanta Hawks. And that changed the entire rest of that title defense season because he was never the same. Then AD got hurt, and then they were hurt when they played Phoenix when they were up 2-1 in the first round of the playoffs. Phoenix goes on to the NBA Finals. Okay, so I do think that they could have kept, if Kyle Kuzma also would have, and I get it, it wasn't in his best interest. Yeah. He wanted to get paid, and he wanted shots. Yeah. But now look at him. You in the Washington Wizards. You getting all the shots you want. You got all the money you want. Yep. Ain't nobody care about Kyle Kuzma right now.
Paris week ain't that fun, huh?
you know what I'm saying?
Fashion week ain't that fun, no more.
So it is to me a valuable lesson. Like, I get you got to get paid, man.
Yeah.
But you also, it depends on what your priorities are, right? But if I would want to win too, I wouldn't want to go to some desolate franchise like the Washington Wizards because they were going to pay me the most. But you know what I mean? Now, granted, he wanted out. He wanted out because he wanted opportunity. Right. They wanted Russ. Russ was there. I get it. I understand. Right. I remember how it all went down. But he wanted that. He could have been here. He could have been part of this, but he was always, remember, people talk about LeBron being passive aggressive. My dude was always talking about always passive aggressive about shots, or I'm sacrificing this, man, you've been in the league 5 minutes. You ain't sacrificed nothing yet.
But George, I feel like what we talking about right now is like professional athletes in general.
Oh no, 100%.
Like professional athletes.
You played pro sports.
But I'm saying like everybody, the first couple years you playing and you figuring it out. And then all of a sudden comes that first time when
you're like, I gotta
make a decision.
cash in.
I gotta get paid.
Right.
I gotta let me go get mine first.
Right.
Once I go get mine, maybe it's a good situation and you feel good about it, and you feel like there's a good infrastructure in place. Or you've spent a couple years and you're like, nah, I'm ready to go win. I need to go win. It doesn't matter. I gotta go win. I can't go out here and just not sacrifice my body, sacrifice myself. I'm looking at Shohei Ohtani wasting years with the Angels. Like, I don't even think about it. Ohtani's been so good this year, we're not even talking about his Angel years no more.
Right.
So to me, it's the same thing. I got to go somewhere where I can go out and go win a championship. That's where the guys are.
Right. Now, remember, Kyle Kuzma basically, in essence, got a very similar deal.
But he got his deal, though.
I'm saying here with LA,
Right.
they gave him a 3-year extension, $40 million, similar to what they did with Austin Reeves, right? Like, so he got his first contract, but then he wanted the big contract. But the only way he was going to do that was getting shots on a bad team. You know what I mean? But then people start, but here's what happens is I feel you.
He'll come back home.
I don't know about home.
He'll
but
come back home. He'll come back to realize I gotta win.
He'll go somewhere eventually, right? Where he'll get, like, here's what's going to happen with Kyle Kuzma.
What?
People are going to say and realize, okay, he's not that dude, but he'd be a good player on a championship team because we've seen him win a championship if he's willing to play a role. Right. And maybe in a few years, he's willing to do that, to your point. But anyway, long story short, the problem here has been that they have misjudged a lot of things over time with this roster.
Who is they?
The front office.
Who is they?
The organization.
You can't just say they.
The organization.
You got to put names out there.
Okay, well.
Because the thing about when we say
we could
they,
start from the beginning.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, from the beginning, Magic Johnson made miscalculations.
Boom. That's a
and
big
I
one.
love Magic.
And we love, but Magic
wanted us to give Cappy 8 field passes to the Washington Commanders. But I remember, I've told this story before. I remember they built that team that first year with LeBron.
Yeah.
Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson. And I'm like, where's the shooting on this team? And they were like, we want playmakers. I'm like, playmakers? You got the best playmaker in the world on your team. What do you need playmakers for? Maybe one, but not like 3. Like, they can't shoot. So, and I remember at Summer League that year, okay? I remember I was on the sideline for whatever night game was happening.
Was it when Lonzo got here? Was this Lonzo?
I don't remember anymore. Like, they all kind of run together.
The Lakers are back. Remember that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Maybe it was the year after Lonzo. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, Magic was there, and I'm walking by him.
Yeah, that's when he was. Lakers are back, baby. We back.
And
Summer League title.
He kind of grabs me and goes, "Oh, you're just gonna walk by, and not say hello?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And I'm like, "You good?" He's like, "I'm good. You good?" And I'm like, because of course they heard everything we were saying. But it's like, no, I'm good, and we were good,
right?
Okay, and but I didn't agree. I didn't back down. That's why I said, "You good?" Because I'm good. you know when you have that, you don't need to say much. You know what I'm saying?
You ever saw that meme before?
Yeah.
Somebody can say "you good" in like 5 different languages.
Right. You good?
You good? You good?
Oh, you good?
Oh, you good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you good? Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, you good?
Right.
Like
right. That's what we had. He and I
had that.
He had that.
So
he and I had
good?
that conversation.
Good.
But then I would say, look, I think they did a nice job when they got the AD deal.
Right.
I think they did a nice job putting that team together. Didn't have great shooting, but had good enough shooting that year.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the following year, I already told you things went haywire for them. The Russ thing. To me, everyone blames LeBron on the Russ thing. This organization, the front office, the general manager, everyone involved, they were all in on Russ. Okay. All of them. Don't let anyone fool you now. Few years later, everybody was in on that. LeBron was just the most vocal and the most forward-facing of it because he was sitting behind me at Summer League with Russ right behind me, okay, in Vegas at the Thomas and Mack Center. But everybody was in on that. And ever since that, things have kind of gone sideways. Now, Pelinka had a, kind of saved himself a little bit.
Why? Because nobody wants to take blame for that?
No, they blame LeBron. The Russ thing is all blamed on LeBron, even though it wasn't all LeBron. Okay?
Right. See, I learned something new.
There you go.
Because, see, everybody else is blaming the organization on why would you make that deal? Why would you give up that kind of money, that kind of draft capital for a guy who possibly wouldn't have fit with the Lakers? So we blaming LeBron on that. See,
right.
I like to play the blame game.
There's so many haters, though, that are just like, oh, it's all LeBron because, he was running the team. He's running the show.
Hey, when you win, we all win, right?
Right.
We all win.
But
when you lose,
it's LeBron's fault.
It's somebody's fault.
But,
that's why when bad decisions happen, whose fault is it?
Here's what I'll say, and I'll tell you on the other side. Pelinka saved himself 2 seasons ago. He got a stay,
ticket?
basically, right? Because
Willy Wonka golden ticket.
But since then they have made more mistakes, and we can get into that. And by the way, I'm not trying to single out Rob because they openly talk about this is a collaboration.
Right.
Okay. Yes, he's the general manager, vice president of personnel, whatever you want to call him, whatever his title is, he deserves that title. But this is a collaboration. Okay. So when I'm saying everybody deserves blame, I ain't just singling out Rob here. Right. Everybody deserves blame. But we can get into that in a second. But you know what?
What?
You know what you need to do? If you get into an accident, you can't be blaming anyone else if you ain't calling Jacob, okay? You get into an accident, you better call Jacob right away, or you can only blame yourself.
Because people mad on that road right now. It's too hot. If you ain't got air conditioning, watch out.
Hell. 844-24-JACOB, okay? So you shouldn't forget these 8 words, all right? We've all heard the jingle. Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie, call Jacob. Don't forget those 8 words, because if you're involved in an accident, slip or fall at the market or the store, you need help. So if you're in an accident, you get an injury, you call my guy Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob, man. Jacob and his team will get you to the doctor, make sure you get the rental car, all without paying a penny, and they'll handle the phone calls and make sure you get the settlement that you deserve. Call them at 844-24-JACOB. Tell them Sedano, Mason, and the crew at 710 sent you. Let Jacob and his team remove all the stress from having to deal with the insurance company. Let's hope you don't need to call Jacob, but if you or a friend or a loved one get involved in an accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob. Call him at 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB. Tell him Sedano, Mason, and the crew at 710 sent you again. You need Jacob because he's the real deal, man. So call him at 844-24-JACOB or visit him online at calljacob.com.
Hey, it's Travis and the great folks at Rotola Chevrolet and Capozio Buick GM.
Ruiz at the Mercado Gonzalez Northgate Market in Costa Mesa. It's a watch party for USA versus Uruguay. Watch the game, win fabulous prizes, and experience the only Mercado like this in Southern California. Northgate Gonzalez Market. Every visit has a story. Find a store near you at northgatemarket.com.
June 30th, Copa America, Mexico, Ecuador. But that's in Phoenix. Mercado Northgate is taking care of you. We're going to have a VIP party down in Costa Mesa. Listen all week long to ESPN LA to figure out how you can get invited. We're going to have a party, we're going to get going, and we're going to cheer on El Tri. USA, USA. That's what you're going to be chanting July 1st when the red, white, and blue takes on Uruguay in Copa America. And where are you going to watch it? At the Mercado Northgate in Costa Mesa. Find out how you can get VIP access all week long on ESPN LA.
Sedano and Kap continues your Monday afternoon right now.
Oh, don't forget my number. Milli Vanilli, man, for a minute.
You watched the documentary.
I have. I saw the inside, the VH1 behind the music or whatever.
It was on Paramount Plus, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
whatever the one that was. Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, it was. It was a very, very well done. They went
It
through
was
everything.
very well. I was
It's
like, I
sad.
was really into it. And the only way they found out was because they tried to make him sing at an award show, I think. And
It was like a tour. It was a concert.
No.
No.
They were at
Where they at?
in Bristol, Connecticut.
Yeah.
They were at Lake Compounce, which is right across the street from ESPN's.
Okay.
It's a water park, okay?
Yes.
Like a Six Flags, okay? And it's literally right down the street from ESPN.
Literally.
Literally. Like
Literally.
Cappy, who literally lives at the East Central, okay? And they had this summer jam like thing. There was like a concert with a bunch of different groups.
With downtown Julie Brown
Yeah,
hosting it.
and the thing started to skip.
Yeah.
And she was totally getting it on with one of them.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing and I was like, I was more like the behind the scenes stuff though.
It's crazy how back then everyone was so mad at Milli Vanilli, and even to this day, like they just get trashed. But it wasn't their fault. They were a bunch of like poor guys basically living on the street that a record company was like, "Oh, these guys are good looking. Let's try and make them into stars."
But they weren't even getting paid like that.
Right.
Right.
Like that was the big part. Like I was like Milli
They
Vanilli,
made
like
so much money off of them, and
the
then
people
threw
who was
them under the
actually
bus.
singing the songs was like, hold on, I need more credit. I need this.
The record
Oh,
company
love it.
made all the money.
The record company made it all. Oh man, I gotta
Sad.
go watch it again.
Well,
I was watching it at the barbershop.
record companies jack artists
Right.
all the time.
But this was like a three-way jack, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you
No,
know
I
what
feel
mean?
you.
Like they was jacking the people who were singing, and then the actual people, Milli Vanilli, who was performing.
Right.
By the way,
Well, it's like, do you remember Black Box? The group Black Box?
No, what is the Black
Strike
Box?
It Up. You ever remember
Okay,
that
I've
song?
heard the song,
Yeah.
yes.
Rock it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Martha Wash is the singer. CNC Music Factory. She's also the singer. They used to. Martha Wash used to sing all these songs for these groups and record companies. Yeah. She used to sing all that stuff, but because she was a bigger woman,
Yes,
they
that's
didn't
what it
want
is.
her in the
Her.
music
Her,
videos.
yeah.
But she sang it.
I saw it on a clip on Instagram.
Yeah. So
One of them old Arsenio Hall
I mean,
clips.
record
Like,
companies be crazy, dog.
You
Being
know,
real.
like in the Milli Vanilli thing, they said that the guy got the idea from a band from the 70s. I forget which one it was, but he created them.
Well, I didn't see whatever you're talking about on Paramount Plus, but I saw it back in the day.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's new. It came out like
VH1's Behind the Music.
Yeah.
Those shows were real. Like they were the document. They used to do documentaries on every artist back in
Everyone.
those
yeah,
days.
this one of them new ones that like on the bootleg. I was at the barbershop.
Yeah.
So just you watch what's on at the barbershop.
Yeah.
So
it just came out like a couple months
Couple
ago,
months
and
ago,
it's
yeah.
fantastic.
That's the
It's
new one, George. You gotta go
mind-blowing.
check this one
You
out.
have
I'll
to
check
watch
it out.
it.
You walk
It's
into
really
the
good.
barbershop, and you're like, oh, what y'all watch? Oh, we watching Milli
Milli
Vanilli.
Do you know it's
But
true?
next thing you start watching for 5 minutes, and you start realizing like,
Fair
this is-
enough.
They got screwed. And the best part is when he's like, I can sing in person. Girl, you know it's true. And it's so bad. So out of key. And
One of them actually could sing okay though.
Yeah.
Eventually,
And
I forgot
after
which
a
one.
while, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah. One passed away.
One
still
passed
alive.
away, right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he's still singing.
Yeah.
He's still
Yeah,
getting it.
He actually sounds pretty good now, but it took him a while to get there.
Yeah. So speaking of taking them a while to get there, that's also been the case with the Lakers. It feels like so.
Let's see what you did.
So after Russ,
there. Yep.
it's been a little, they had like a stay basically because Rob was able to get a couple guys at the deadline a couple years ago, and they caught fire and they went to the conference finals. They got the right matchups. They got Memphis. They got the Warriors, and then they met Denver, and it was over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But and last year when we were going into it, I was like, they re-signed those guys. Like I get it. I said, but it'd be nice if they add some new additions. They add make some sense. Now look, they went after Gabe Vincent. I got the understanding. He never panned out because he couldn't play because he was hurt.
Yeah.
Right. But I didn't love the Christian Wood signing. I didn't love the kid they got from New Orleans. what's his name? It escapes me now. Anyway, he wasn't that good.
Not Hayes. No.
Jackson Hayes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yeah. Like, I didn't love those two signings.
Right.
And I people still argue with me about Christian Wood. I'm like, yo, Christian Wood puts up empty numbers, dog. Like, he put, right, D?
No, you're not wrong.
I mean,
Not
you
wrong,
played
right?
ball. You know ball.
Exactly.
That dude puts up empty numbers.
He does.
He's a nice dude, but he don't put, and like, he's talented, but there's a reason you've been on like 8 teams, you know? If you were that good, somebody would have kept you.
Exactly.
You know? So, like, that's part of the issue, is that they have yet to been able to build anything sustainable.
Correct.
And they've also just, like, you have to, when you're the general manager of any team, any professional team, and you tell me if I'm wrong about football, but I feel like you need to have what you believe is a core, and then the other pieces need to be able to be moved around.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And I think that the Lakers maybe made a few misjudgments with this particular group that they have at the moment. I remember after last playoffs, I was telling people, even before the playoffs, I was like, yo, you can't trust D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell's not a great player.
Yeah.
Like, he's a good player, he's not a great player. And this team needs him to be a great player.
Yeah.
And I don't think he fits that role. And again, I'm not trying to hate on D'Angelo. I think D'Angelo is a good NBA player. But there's a difference between good and great, as I just mentioned. So he has these bad playoffs, and I'm like, you got to sell on D'Angelo Russell as soon as you can, okay? And now, for whatever reason, whether it's teams weren't that interested or the offers they had weren't great, I know they were trying to get DeJounte Murray. They wanted Austin Reeves, but they didn't want just D'Angelo. Like, you needed to get off D'Angelo when you had the chance. Because now what's happened is this, okay? Even though he's got 1 year left on his deal, okay? 1. That's the easiest contract to move in theory, okay? But Rob said it best the other day. Okay, that's why I'm not trying to blame Rob completely, because, again, this stuff is nuanced, all right? So Rob said what at the J.J. Redick press conference?
He said it's difficult. It's very
we
difficult
have
to
that?
make a trade.
Do we
no,
have
he
it?
didn't say it at the press conference. He said it after the fact.
Oh, in a media scrum.
Yeah, with Dave McMenamin.
Okay. I could have sworn he said it at the press conference too, but it's okay. Nonetheless, he did say those words, okay? And he's right. It is harder to make a trade now because, not to get too far into the weeds, but the NBA has basically said, we are trying to create the NFL model, okay? We want to make sure that everybody's got a shot, okay? And by the way, they've kind of done it. They've had 6 different champions, okay?
Yep.
And now they've created this salary structure where there's, the luxury tax, then there's the first apron and the second apron. And the higher you go up on those things, the more punitive it is. Even so much so that if you surpass the second apron, which is in essence now a hard cap, you can't buy guys out. Like, you can't get a buyout guy at the buyout deadline in March. You can't use your mid-level exemption because those are things that they're doing it to make more competitive balance between the teams. Right. It's why Indiana, they had some luck along the way, but Indiana gets to go to a conference finals, right? It's why you have 6 different champions. So it's why I've been telling Laker fans, Kirk, for months, for years even, okay? You can't rely on just being the Lakers anymore. That ain't gonna work no more. This ain't the Shaq and Kobe or the Showtime era.
See, that's the hard part. People don't listen.
This is a
hard.
different NBA. Yeah. The landscape is different. So much so that your general manager has said on the record that it's hard. He's right. Now, it's hard, but it doesn't mean they couldn't have done things. I think you should have taken whatever you could have gotten for D'Angelo Russell, made it work, and that way you'd be in a position, perhaps in a better position today than you were when you're trying to get a Klay Thompson, and the only asset you have to dangle is D'Angelo Russell. And by the way, you know this because you're a Warriors fan. He didn't play that great there, and they didn't necessarily love having him there.
So could you say social media hurt the Lakers?
What do you mean?
Listen to me for a second, George. Remember, everybody used to come to L.A. to do what? To build their brand. It was about, if you come to L.A., you're going to get primetime games. You're playing on Sundays. You're playing Saturday night. Every primetime game, when you're a Laker, everybody wanted to come to L.A. Now, with social media, you've already got a brand. If you got a brand, what you going to do with your brand? Now, I don't have to be a Laker. I can have my shoe drop on Instagram. I can have my shoe drop over here. I can drive my shoe drop over. I can build my own brand without having to be in Los Angeles. That's where I think social media has changed it. Before, everybody used to go run to L.A.
100%.
It was like Shaq was the first big star.
Back in the 90s, yeah. 96.
You run to L.A. and look at what it is. Shaq, I mean, don't get me wrong. Shaq was already.
Well, I mean, you can even go back further than that. Kareem and them, right?
But Shaq
Kareem was in Bruce Lee movies, dog.
Yeah, but it all happened because guys came to what?
L.A., no doubt.
It's not the same no more.
No.
It's not.
Anthony Edwards is in movies. He's in Minnesota.
Right. Tyrese Halliburton gets drafted by the Sacramento Kings. He's over now. He's in Indianapolis. And what? Now he's a name.
Right.
It's just, to me, social media has changed that to a point where being a Laker, yeah, it's cool. But it's also now you can go anywhere and be that guy. And I think that's what Kyle Kuzma was trying to do. That's what Lonzo, so many guys were trying to do that. And it's just not the case no more, man. It's just like being in the purple and gold, the structure hasn't been there in the last, 4 or 5 years, George, to where you feel like every single year we got an opportunity. It's every single year they're trying to put it all together instead of saying we got the core piece like you talked about, that no matter what, we just got to add a couple pieces. The core piece is always evolving, George, always. LeBron, AD, and then who? LeBron, AD, and then who?
Right.
Think about it. Who is it? Every single year, you got to we need more out of D'Angelo. No, D'Angelo's a theater guy. He's not a stadium guy, meaning he can play in a theater, but you put him at SoFi with the bright light, it's different. Playoffs are different. The Lakers don't have those guys.
So I would say this, and by the way, real quick, you heard Lindsay mention earlier, today at 5 o'clock, which is 14 minutes away, our guy Beto and Mario Ruiz, they're at the Mercado Gonzalez Northgate Market in Costa Mesa. It's a watch party for USA versus Uruguay. Watch the game. Watch the game. Oh, you said it right. I mean, I'll say it right.
I'm trying.
You said it right. I anglicized it. It's Uruguay.
Uruguay.
Yeah. Watch the games with Win Fabulous Prizes experience, the only Mercado like this in Southern California, Northgate Gonzalez Market. Every visit has a story. Find a store near you at northgatemarket.com. So what I would add to that is this. Because people are wondering, well, how did the Lakers strike out again? How is it they can't get these big name free agents? Okay, well, let's start at a very basic level. Let's start with the fact that they don't have money available as free agents, right? So that's one thing you have to check off. For them to have acquired, let's say there were a couple of guys on the LeBron list of the pay cut, okay? One of them was James Harden, which I didn't see happening. First of all, James Harden just made $35 million a year for 2 years, okay? $70 million.
He good.
LeBron they would have had to have traded a lot of stuff, again, to the Clippers, who weren't going to do a sign and trade. They didn't do a sign and trade for Paul George. Yeah. So they're not going to do it for anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to do it for James Harden.
They let Paul George walk. Just put that in your mind.
Right.
Too.
They're not going to do it. So they didn't do it to the Warriors. They're sure as hell not going to do it to the Lakers. Okay? So let's eliminate that. Then there was Klay. Now, the Klay thing, again, for LeBron to have, or for Klay to have fit into the Lakers without trading D'Angelo, which clearly there's not much of a market for him, right?
And the Warriors already saw what that looked like.
No.
And the Warriors didn't want none of that. They
None of that. Okay?
Y'all can have D. Russ for the second time. We don't want that. He came to Oakland. They ran him up out the town.
They could not get him out fast enough. Okay?
Ran him out the town.
Let's just say they did not enjoy the D'Angelo experience up there. Okay? So that was never going to happen. You would have had to have shipped D'Angelo in a third deal, is what I'm saying, and for nothing. Yeah. Like, you would have had to have sent him to a team for space. Like, I don't even know how that works. You know what I mean? So, like, that was never going to happen between D'Angelo Russell and the Lakers with Golden State as a 1-for-1. Right. That was never going to happen, okay? Not in a million years.
Correct.
Okay? So, that means LeBron would have had to have gone from $51 million that he's currently making to $25 million to accommodate Klay as a $13 million mid-level exemption player, okay, to make the math work in the salary cap.
Yeah.
And just trust me when I tell you that's how the math would have needed to work, because they would have had to have been under one of those thresholds that I explained earlier. So the chances of that were happening were also slim, okay?
Because Brown only did it for one other person or two other people.
And then it was Jonas Valanciunas, who was also on the list.
Yeah.
And then Lakers, I don't know what, maybe they didn't want to go a third year for him. He went for $30 million, 10 a year. Now that was doable.
I'm saying Bosh and Wade when he took the pay cut.
Oh, back then.
I'm talking about back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, you got to go back 14 years for the last time he took an actual pay cut.
And so I think he's at a point now where I could take a little bit off, but back in the day.
But not $25 million. That's different. Okay? He wasn't taking $25 million, okay? Maybe 10, 12, whatever, But
Aaron Rodgers doing it in Green Bay. In New York. With
right.
the Jets.
So the Valanciunas stuff,
Yep.
okay, they could have had Valanciunas, but it didn't work out. Like, for whatever reason, I don't know the story behind Valanciunas, so I'm not going to claim to know that. But it is weird that he goes for 3 for 30. Like, that could have been figured out, I thought. Maybe not. Okay. And then I guess I heard Mason Ireland talking about it. I have not heard that DeMar DeRozan was one of these guys, but they said he was. I just don't love the fit with DeMar DeRozan necessarily, But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe DeMar DeRozan at this stage can make it work and make it fit. I just also don't see DeMar DeRozan being a mid-level guy. That's just me. I could be wrong because people thought he was a mid-level guy the last time, and then he got paid like $28 million.
So enlighten me on this one, though, George, because I remember back around the trade deadline a while ago, maybe during the season. Remember DeJounte Murray? Was DeJounte Murray ever available from Atlanta?
Yes, last season.
Remember that?
Right, but they wanted Austin Reeves. I would have done it.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't want to act like I would have.
I would have done it.
Think about it now. You probably could have.
You got to cash that chip in at some point.
Because
he's a chip.
Yes.
Austin is a chip. His contract, he even now, I believe he is better than a $12 or $13 million player.
Correct.
You got to cash that chip at some point for a better player than him.
You would have got a dude. You would have got a.
And now New Orleans got him.
Austin Reeves is a good guy. Great guy.
No, you got to give something to get something.
To get that.
Right.
If the Lakers had DeJounte Murray right now, think about it. A year ago, we're talking about they get DeJounte Murray. You got LeBron. You just got to get a couple pieces. You good.
Right.
You can let LeBron take some time off.
Right.
Now we're trying to find who's going to be that next scorer to get LeBron, the Lakers through the regular season without having to worry about load management. I'm just trying to throw it out there.
It's a compliment.
Do your job.
It's a compliment to Austin Reeves
is.
you're trading him for what I think is a better player. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, I'm sure Austin doesn't think he's a better player, but that's fine. He's entitled to his opinion. Yeah. I think DeJounte Murray is a better player. You got to cash that chip in at some point. But it is what it is. But that's how we are here where they've struck out. This is how you've gotten to this level. Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to play a game here, I was told. Mm-hmm. You played this game at training camp?
This game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lindsay's got a game. Chris has walked into the studio. I don't know what he's walking in for.
They asked me to play.
Oh, you're going to play?
Go Kings go, right behind him.
Okay.
There we go.
So what are we playing here? What is the game that we're playing?
Who can do it?
Who can do it?
Yeah.
You can do it all night long?
I mean, if you want to.
No, I'm just saying,
We played this at training camp.
We did.
with
I love
Kirk,
this game.
And it made for a very fun time. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is a like sit around drinking, hang out card game. Stack of cards. Basically, you got to do what the card says. So if something refers to the judge, whoever sitting to the right of you is the judge, right? So you just got to do whatever's on the card.
So she shuffles
So
the
my
cards.
right would be Kirk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Shuffle the cards. Here we go.
Am I just grabbing whatever card?
Whatever card. Pick one.
Out of the deck. Okay. All right.
Oh, man.
So it says beatbox.
I'm leaving then. There's no point. I'm not going to beatbox.
You don't have to do it. Just George has to do it.
Oh, George does it.
Or don't I have to pass it to Kirk? How does that work?
No. You got to do it, and then he'll pick a card after you're done with your little task there.
Hey, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That's
that was a lot of heavy breathing. I enjoyed that, though.
I kind of like that. All right, next one. Hope you get a good one like last time.
no.
This
Yeah,
is
no,
how we
I
got
don't-
the puke and the Escalade story.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
Okay. Now I'm the judge then. If you have a judge-related card,
Oh.
read it.
Woo. Tell everyone something you learned in sex ed.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What did I learn?
I mean, this is what California Cryobank read should be coming after this. Do we have one for Cappy from Cappy? We can just play.
What did I learn?
Everyone has to do this one. Best one wins, and I'm the judge.
Best one wins. So everybody got to do this one.
Yep.
Everybody. What did I learn? See, I went to Catholic school. So it was
Well, it
a little
depends on
different.
what. I mean, you know.
I was also a long time ago.
This is a long time. Do we even do sex ed anymore? Or is that just
Yeah.
Instagram now?
No,
we do
I
it here
mean,
at the station. Yeah,
Oh,
on the air. No,
Are you
all
the
time.
teacher?
No, Cappy's a teacher. Unfortunately.
Sex ed, men's health, get your colonoscopies,
I don't know, man.
everyone.
It's just honestly like the problem is I probably had sex ed in like what 8th or 9th grade. You know what I mean? Like that was 30 years ago.
I do remember our gym teacher was our health teacher. Was that the same for you guys?
No.
Like so our gym teacher was our health teacher, and he was a younger guy, probably like early 30s. Mr. Nigro, I remember him. He was a very good-looking man, and he was trying to. What?
Good.
I had the same reaction you
DeAndre
did.
gave me a
Dog.
look.
I had the same reaction
He
you
was a
did.
good-looking guy. Anyway, so he was telling this story
Yeah,
about.
that was a Saved by the Bell episode.
We
but
were
go ahead.
learning about like STDs, and he was trying to be like funny and like cool, I guess. He's like, "Don't you guys know like she gave me gone, she burned me."
Oh, hey now.
And we were like,
That's a little
"What?
extra.
What?" Like he was like giving us slang, and we're in 7th grade, and we're like, "No." He's like, "You guys never heard that? She burned me," and we're like,
Gone.
"No, never heard that one before." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And he was so embarrassed. It was
The
very
RIA,
funny.
as they call it.
Yeah.
The closest thing, though, for me, I would say was my aunt. So every time I would go over to my aunt's house, and I would like, I had like a little cold, or like I was under the weather, she was like, "Who you been kissing?"
Oh.
I'm like, "What you mean? I ain't been kissing no one." She was like, "Well, you know, every time you got a sore throat, you sick, you been kissing somebody, so you been over there kissing." That's the closest thing I had to a sex ed teacher was my aunt telling me who you been kissing.
Who'd you get mono from?
Oh, that's a whole different story. But oh my God, that's a different story.
Wait, so they don't teach.
We actually had a mono guy in college.
Oh no, everyone
I had
has
a guy,
mono
I had a
right?
buddy, roommate of mine. I won't say his name. Missed the game because of mono.
Oh wow.
In the school newspaper, it was a picture of him on a knee with a helmet, and it says "Player X missed the game due to mononucleosis." I wish I still had this paper.
The
by
clipping would be
the clipping.
fantastic. Yeah.
Didn't that happen to one of the Jets quarterback? Zach Wilson?
Yeah, little Zachy.
Yeah.
Oh, Zach,
Yeah.
he's got engaged, by the way.
Oh, congrats.
Congrats.
Yeah, and it's not somebody's mom.
Yeah. We
Chris
got to
and
break
Chips
here
It's
or
soon.
okay
No.
if it's somebody's mom. It's okay. That's fine.
You gotta pick one since
You're
you
gonna pick
gotta
one. We
go.
got to go to break. So.
I didn't know we did that here anymore. Yeah.
No restrictions.
Introduce yourself to the judge in your best Australian accent.
Now George is your judge for this one.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Mate. They say mate. Oh, yeah, mate, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want the shrimp on the bobby, mate?
That sounded
It's
Scottish.
fine.
All right.
I would say it's like a C. Yeah.
I'll take a C.
Yeah, it passes.
I guess. Kind of like, never mind.
All right. That is.
That's all
Who
we
can
got?
do it? I mean, you guys
can
wanna
do
another
it?
One? We gotta
Who
do one
can
more.
do it?
I could pull a card.
Yeah, you didn't do one yet.
So tomorrow I'm going to tease this
Well, we have a
later.
6-minute break. So how about we pull the card afterwards?
Let me. Well, I got to go, but I want to pull it right now. But I'm going to tell you something else. Producer DeAndre does 2 incredible impersonations that he dropped on us Friday night at the Cody Wu goodbye party. He will do those tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
During a live imaging Tuesday.
Okay, I want to hear them now. I'm excited. He's hyping you up, so you better nail it now.
I got you.
Okay.
And you're going to have to watch YouTube tomorrow because you have to see, for one of them specifically, you have to see the
gestures.
gestures.
Okay,
and
fair
gyrations.
enough.
Okay, the
Fair enough.
mannerisms. I
seeing
got you.
those, seeing those movements you're making, you're like, the gestures.
All right, we're back in a couple minutes. We'll be back 2 more hours to go. 7:10 ESPN.
Hey, it's Travis, and the great folks at Rotolo Chevrolet and Capozio Buick GMC are giving you the chance to once again nominate an all-star student from your community. So if you're a parent, friend, teacher, coach, or anyone else who knows an all-star in the classroom, the community, and the field, nominate your student at ESPNLA.com and they could win $500. 5 students will be chosen and invited to All-Star Friday night to meet the 710 family and a chance to join the play-by-play team. Thanks to Rotolo Chevrolet and Capozio Buick GMC. Come see what all the fun's about.
ESPN.
Sedano and Kap for your afternoon right now on 710 ESPN.
It's time for what you need to know.
Let's do it. What you need to know right now.
What you need to know is brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times. Less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. Take it away, Linz.
Thanks, Sedano. All right, guys. So the oldest women's gymnastics team U.S. member is headed to Paris for the Olympics once again, and that is Simone Biles. She's going to return to the Olympics for her third shot at glory at 27. And, you know, that's like a dinosaur in gymnastics.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
27?
Yes,
Yeah.
27.
Yeah.
So she will arrive at Paris as the most decorated women's gymnast ever with a combined 37 medals between the Olympics and World Championships. She's also going to be joined by her teammates. Let me make sure I have all the names correct here. All right, so you guys remember Suni Lee, who was also on the last Olympic team. She's going to be there as well.
Okay.
She's also going to be joined by the 2020 floor exercise champion gold medalist Jade Carey, 2020 Olympic silver medalist Jordan Childs, how do you say her name, Childs? And 16-year-old, a newcomer, Hesley Rivera, who is going to be competing in the all-around and a couple other competitions. So gymnastics is always my favorite. I can't wait to watch it. George, do you get to see any Olympic events when you're in Paris?
No,
Or are you
I'm
gonna be
leaving the
gone?
day of the. I'm leaving to another country the day of the opening ceremonies.
Oh, man.
It's gonna be here in 4 more years.
Darn.
You
Well, I
know.
thought he was going to go watch like some hoops or something at least, you know?
No, but the hoops aren't in actual Paris. It's like in
Oh,
a
yeah,
different
that's
part of the
right.
country. So
Right.
it's like you'd have to go and trek over there. Like
Just like
that.
Oklahoma.
When I found that out, well, it's not like going to Oklahoma City for the softball here in 4 more years, but it is. It's a little bit of a trek. So at that point, I was like, Like when I saw they weren't playing in Paris, I was like, okay, then forget it.
So it's considered the Paris Olympics.
Yeah, but it's the French Olympics
It's
basically.
French, but it's all over.
Yeah. And it's a bigger country than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
more spread out like
I've
here.
been there a couple times.
But did you know, Kirk, that we talked about this a couple weeks ago?
What?
They're going to have for the LA Olympics in 2028, they're going to have the softball event take place at the College Stadium in Oklahoma.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
Because they don't have a place that seats enough people here.
Yeah, for a softball stadium.
So they're doing it at the best softball stadium, which is there.
But I'm seeing everybody like make stadiums. I just saw Lucas Oil make a swimming pool.
Yeah,
Right, well, they're doing
You know
that at
what I'm saying?
SoFi.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
turning SoFi
Yeah, they
into
doing
the swimming thing.
So we can't make.
They were going to
spot?
originally, but then they decided that, with it being LA and California, they want to focus more on sustainability and being more environmentally friendly and not making temporary structures and only using what they already have in place.
Not making temporary structures.
That's what they said.
All right. I guess.
I mean, I don't know. I understand why they can't play it.
If you build it, they will come. I'm telling you. But
Yeah, they made that cornfield.
Yeah, but still, though, you can build a little stadium. I've seen it. Trust me, I've seen it. I went to the U.S. Open last year, and they built LACC, Los Angeles Country
Yeah,
Club.
I was there too.
You saw it? Yeah, we were
Yeah.
all there.
Ruined my Air Maxes, my white ones, but
yeah, you know, it's
that
going to get that
dusty walking
Yeah,
around. I've
oh,
never seen so much dust at a golf course.
Yeah, that's why
before.
you got to go to find them biscuits. You know what
You're right.
biscuits are? That's them shoes at the bottom of your closet
Yeah.
that you never wear or you do yard work in. Those are the ones that. So everybody at the Los Angeles Country Club last year for the U.S. Open, everybody looked great from the knee up.
Yeah, except their shoes.
Like from the knee up, everybody was, Corey looked fantastic, beautiful. Nice polo shirts. Women had their sundresses on and, their golf outfits. But you look down at them shoes.
Yep,
Them
my
shoes was
my
through.
Air Maxes
I'm talking
became
about
biscuits. Bad.
like straight dirty. Like you just been playing kickball all day. You ever, like, see, you'll see, guy. You pick your kids up and you're like, you left. That's why I don't buy my kids Jordans. Okay, I don't. Because you give them Jordans, they go to school and they play kickball all day.
Hell no.
They're kicking people all day. They want to go run in the dirt. I'm like, those are $100 shoes, and
Yeah.
we just
What kind of
turned them
shoes
into
are you
some.
buying?
I buy my kids like Skechers and all sorts of stuff to play at school and just get dirty.
I'm just gonna
and-
get dirty.
Yeah. Yeah.
At what age though do you start buying your kids cool shoes?
No, but I have
I don't know.
my
That's a good
son
question.
plays in an indoor basketball league.
And they still come back messed up.
No, he play. So he has like some LeBron 8s or something because it's indoors. They ain't gonna get dirty. I mean, worst case it gets stepped on, but that's about it. But that it's not outdoors. So they're nice. They stay clean. But that's the only time he's allowed to use those shoes is when we were playing indoors.
Yeah.
My nephew he just turned 13 in April, and he's become a sneakerhead, probably a lot because of me. And he got new Jordans for his birthday, and some kid, just to be a jerk, stepped on him in school, and he was just like, ha, just christening him, he said. And
My daughter wanted some Jordans. I got her some teen Jordans.
Oh, like from the outlet?
Dude, that's wrong, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
too young to know
it's
the
levels
difference.
to this, DeAndre.
Yeah, they're too young to know
Come
the
on, man,
difference.
it's levels. Hey, let's start off on the Luka package first, okay?
How old is she?
Start off on the Luka and the Jason Tatum. We gonna work our way on up.
Those
okay?
Lukas are nice.
That's what I'm saying.
And they're comfortable.
That's
to
what I
play
mean.
in,
Let's
too.
work our way up. Like, no, I want the 11s. I want these. No, you're not getting ones. You're not getting you got levels. Let's start here first. This is the preschool of Jordans.
I was gonna say, how
then we
old is
gonna work
she?
your way up till we get to the.
Because once you're at that age, when you're in the same, you got to be in the same shoe size for at least a year before you
Correct.
get like
Exactly.
nice shoes.
You're 100%.
Because otherwise, it's like you need 2-3 pairs
Every
because you
6
grow out
months.
of them. Yeah.
Every 6
it's
months.
It's crazy.
All right. Sorry about that. We had to get on that.
You
because
didn't have
it
to
was-
apologize to me. I feel you, man.
George has more shoes than all of us put together.
I don't know about that.
I feel like you got a lot of shoes, George. You could probably go like you probably went your whole entire finals trip without repeating your shoes once.
He thinking about it.
How many pairs you bring on your trip? You said you had 3 suitcases?
No, I mean you're talking about like on game days. You're saying?
Yeah, like
Yeah, on game days. Well, I only had 4 games in the East and then 5 games in the finals. So,
so you had 9 different pairs?
I brought 7 different pairs
See?
to wear to different
fire.
games, and then I brought like 3 just to to
And
wear
then I
on
brought
off
3.
days.
So you had an overweight check-in.
I
no.
didn't. Right at 50, dog. Right at 50.
You know, do you have a luggage scale?
Because remember, I got one separate bag that just houses the suits and the dress clothes.
Why did you say that, Lindsay? Why did she say that?
What?
I feel like, and
He
George.
has a very impressive wardrobe,
yeah,
is what I'm
I
saying.
really feel like, George, the kind of person that you are, I really feel like you have a weight scale at your house
No,
for your bag.
no,
I
no,
think
wait.
you do, George.
I just no. I
think you do.
No,
I
you know
think
what it is?
I
He
think you got a
knows.
suitcase. You
I
put it
picked
on
that,
there.
I picked that thing up, and I know.
I was just saying,
don't
you
know. You
travel
travel
so
so
much.
much.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
I can see you like
Ask
this.
My wife,
Because
you can call her and ask her. But
you
I,
get to the airport and you fold your arms like this. And you just put it up there.
go.
Go ahead.
Nah,
Yep.
it's all just
It's like,
on.
oh no, sir, this looks like it's over 50. You just say go.
No, Kirk, he's got like that extra 15-pound leeway because he's like extra platinum spectacular
No, I don't have
medallion.
any. Nah, they don't do any of that. But
I'm George Sedano.
but I pick it up. I don't take the big suitcase that often.
Right, but you know.
But
I'm joking with you because I know.
I pick it up.
You know.
And I'm like, it's a little heavy. I may need to take 1 or 2 things out. I know.
You know, only way
My wife's always we always have to move stuff. Well, not so much anymore. Back in the day, or especially when we first had kids, we had to move stuff all the time.
But you always had to pack the big bag. So I know only because shout out to all my guys.
she
over
packs
there.
the big bag
Yeah,
now.
but shout out to my guys at the LA Fitness. You know, Equinox, 24-hour fitness, wherever you go, Crunch, wherever you go. Because I feel like you have practice. Like if you pick up a pound dumbbell, you know, like a 45 plate. That's how I know. You can pick up a 45, you're like, whoo, okay. Now I know when I pack my bags, okay, I got an extra pound or 2. I haven't been over. So that's why I'm telling people I know that 45-pound plate is my practice for the airport.
My dad got me one of the greatest presents ever. I didn't even know these things existed. Like 10 years ago, he got me a luggage scale, and it's like this little handheld thing. And I was like, "What is
A
this?"
luggage scale? So you have one.
So she has one.
It's like a handle. It's like the size of a mouse or smaller, half the size of a mouse. And you just put your strap into it and you hold it up and it tells you, and it works really good. And I was like, Dad, this is a great idea. I didn't even know these things existed.
Okay.
They work.
By the way, Sam Darnold was the Jets quarterback who had mono.
Yeah.
in LA.
It was.
It wasn't little Zachy.
Sorry, Zach.
It was Sam. That's right.
So real quick,
Yeah.
Klay Thompson. Okay.
Yeah.
I know it hurts you. I want to get into this
It
briefly.
just hurts
here.
because I don't get a chance to see the Instagrams on the boat no more.
That's it. No more
You know,
Rocco.
He used to take the boat
Rocco
to the game.
Him and Rocco going to learn to ride a
Yeah.
bull or something. I don't know what's going to happen next. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like maybe we should ask Michael.
We
Like,
should
you
Because
know,
give
Michael
Michael
Thompson
some-
now have to go to Dallas now.
Yeah,
Like,
we
he
should
gotta
get
go
him some
visit in
cowboy
Dallas.
boots and a hat, cowboy hat. Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
Cowboy Klay.
Yep, Cowboy
It'll be
Klay.
Cowboy Klay now.
I like that.
But here's the thing. You know, it would have been complicated for the Lakers to have to make it work.
Right.
But the point is, he wasn't going to wait around, nor should he.
Right.
And also, didn't he kind of make the better decision, even if both things were equal?
I mean, don't you want to go to the team that was already closest to
Right.
the promised land?
Right.
He's trying to
Win another chip.
Win another chip.
Right.
And how great would that chip be to say, I got another chip without Steph, without Draymond? Like, I got one more chip than Steph and Dre. He got it in Dallas. If he does get it in Dallas, like that to me is closer, because if you look at right now, if we put the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Lakers together, which team is closest to the NBA Finals? Which team is closer to winning a championship? We would have to say it's the Dallas Mavericks.
No
right
question
now.
about it.
So it's a good decision on his behalf, and I get it. Look, he's going to a tax-free state. People keep talking about, the contract. He's going to a tax-free state. He's
Right,
already
he's
made
saving-
a boatload of
he's
money.
saving 10 or 12%
he's
easily.
chilling. He good. And remember, it's not like he's going there to go be the guy.
No, he's the third or fourth best player.
Even Kyrie told you, sometimes Luka just tell me, hey, just chill out, I got this. And then I tell him, hey, is it my turn? Okay, like they already have a rapport that we saw, we thought didn't work.
Right, but did.
But it did. It got him to. And now Klay just sits in there. He comes in. Hey,
Well-
just stay in the corner, man. We got you.
So-
we going to feed you.
The one thing they were missing is something that he absolutely could bring to the table in spades, and we'll get to that coming up on the other side. But first, let me tell you, don't forget, the guys are there right now.
Yes,
Beto
indeed.
and Mario are there at Mercado Gonzalez Northgate Market in Costa Mesa. They're
USA,
watch party for USA and Uruguay.
USA.
By the way, I know the El Tri fans, the Mexican fans, are not happy. We can get into that a little later. I want to bring on Hercules Gomez tomorrow, so we can do a little 2-for-1. We talk USA and Mexico, because I feel like both fans are not going to be happy after tonight. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe USA wins, but I don't feel confident about it. But anyway, you can watch the game with Beto and Mario down there in Costa Mesa. All right. Win fabulous prizes. Experience the only mercado like this in Southern California. Northgate Gonzalez Market. Every visit has a story. Find a store near you at northgatemarket.com. All right. So we'll get to that. Also, our friend Nick Wright, friend of the program, has taken a swipe at the Los Angeles Lakers. You'll hear about that in a moment. Stick around, 710 ESPN.
Cap more at 4 p.m.
And it is Sedano and Cap here Monday afternoon. Today is International Chicken Wing Day. And let's say happy birthday. She turns 53. Missy Elliott. Sedano and Cap continues your Monday afternoon right now.
Come on, Missy.
Missy was the first one with the hot tour.
She was the first hot tour. That is true. That's a great point.
You just made me spit my pop out.
Did you see Shaq was with the hot tour girl?
I see him. She hot show. She coming to L.A. Hawk Tour girl.
My favorite Hawk Tua meme was the one with the Iron Sheik.
Hawk Tour girl. She is now. We found her name. What? Kaylee Welsh. Is that her name? Kaylee Welsh. Is that her name?
She was on stage singing with Zach
She
Bryan.
did her first interview. And
with
the crazy part
girl
about
from
it is, I
Barstool?
think she's a riot. I think she's just one of those people who has a great personality, and she was having fun out on the street. And you have these people who come up with a microphone. Hey, what's going on, girl? Hey, I got a question. If you have a boyfriend, how would you keep him? And she was just like, you know what? This is what you got to do. Like, she's just having a moment to where
And it went viral as
It went
hell?
viral. And now I have two things now. Two things.
Didn't she get fired?
See, she debunked all that. She was like, first of all, I didn't get fired.
Okay.
She was like, I dropped out of college a couple times. Like she was just like, I'm just a regular girl. I was out in Nashville having fun with my friends, and I do an interview, and this is what happens. It went viral. She was like, my whole family is laughing about it. My dad is not a preacher. So
Right.
people think like that. She was like, my dad is not a preacher. He is so far from it. So she did her first interview. I watched it, and I was like, to me, she's the kind of person that you're like, wow, she probably can go to Los Angeles. Now, we don't know what she's going to do with this 15 minutes of fame, but she's got personality. Even Shaq has now, like I said, Shaq's going to have her on his podcast. So she may find Hollywood stardom on just doing a interview. Now, I said this is what comes from it, though. Now, everybody's going to be doing these little viral things now. So everywhere we go, people are going to be with the microphones trying to get that viral moment. Trying
I've been doing that for 10 years.
Yeah, we've been doing like, it's just everybody like, hey, come here. Hey, so how would you keep your boyfriend at home? You know what I'm saying? Like
That's like the biggest viral moment I can remember, honestly, since I was trying to think. And like the last one I could even just think of, and I could be wrong, was like when that Gorilla Glue girl went viral. That was big for a while.
Yeah, that went by.
But it wasn't like the same thing. You know what I mean? But like that's the last time I remember a random normal person just going completely viral and being like everyone talking about them for 2-3 weeks.
You know what? That is true though. I know it's probably some out there though.
Right,
Like
right.
it must be others out there, but that one is like the one that.
Where it's like you go from kids all the way up to your parents talking about it. And they don't even know what the original video is.
And it's just because it just has a mind of its own. The Hawk Tour girl. That's what we know her as.
Yeah. Good for her, man.
Good for her.
It's funny.
So good for Klay, too. So Klay fills a role that the Dallas Mavericks desperately need, okay?
Correct. Yes.
And that role is knock down a three. Because when I watched them during the NBA Finals, I mean, Luka struggled from three. Kyrie struggled from three. Nobody was hitting threes. Not Derrick Jones Jr., not Tim Hardaway Jr., any other junior that was on the roster couldn't hit a three either, okay? Outside of Tim Hardaway Jr. hitting 5 threes when they were up 40 points or whatever it was, they couldn't hit a three when it mattered in a game that was close, okay? So Klay certainly can still do that. Now, the thing that I am curious to see what happens now is what they do in regards to signing someone, the Mavericks, that is, who can defend the best perimeter player on the other side. Because I love Klay, but that is not Klay at this stage of his career.
Yeah, he's not that guy.
Right. Not at this stage of his career.
not that
Doesn't
guy.
mean he's a bad, I'm not saying he's a bad defender. He just was one of the elite defenders. And that's what you need to guard the other team's best player. They lose Derrick Jones Jr., who was an elite point of attack defender.
Right.
I don't view him in the way I view even Klay 5 or 6 years ago. Or Kawhi or Paul George or any of those type of guys, okay? So I think they still need some help, okay, on the defensive end. But they love Derek Lively. I think Derek Lively is a keeper. I think Derek Lively is probably going to be their third best player. Maybe not next year, but pretty soon.
Yeah.
Like, he's legit. And I don't think what people realize is he can shoot the ball. He just only took 3 threes last season, but he legit can shoot the ball.
Yeah, not only can he shoot, but you saw him.
Oh, defensively, he's great.
But you saw that the moment wasn't too big for him.
He
fit. You know what I mean?
Right. The moment
That's
wasn't big.
The moment was too big.
He's a vocal leader as a rookie. I met him at Summer League last year.
Okay.
There was no other rookie that I came away with more impressed with than Derek Lively. And I said it at the time, and I'll repeat it again. Yeah. If you didn't hear it back then, I'll tell you again. So at Summer League that first weekend, they have me basically interview every.
Will you be at Summer League again this year?
Yes.
You will be there.
Yes.
So you'll be boots on the ground.
Yes.
So if I'm texting you, I need answers.
Right, I'll be there.
How much will Bronny play in Summer League, by the way?
Oh, I think he will play a lot. If I had to guess.
I think he only plays one game. I think the Lakers try to hide him.
Hide him for what?
Make it into a big, huge show when he finally plays.
This is a stat-driven league.
Well, Bronny's playing in the second game. He's playing the 4:30 Pacific game on the first day.
Yeah, just get him out there, go run around for a little bit.
That's my game.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, it's my game.
I'm just saying, like you mentioned Lively and how we watch players in Summer League. We see how they do. To me, I'm really interested on how this dynamic works for the Lakers. This has nothing to do with their current roster. This just my entertainment value, obviously.
You're like your Cappy value.
Yeah, the entertainment value when it comes to the Lakers, because we're going to be talking about this summer. LeBron and Bronny. What is the impact going to look like? What is it going to be? What's the dynamic?
There is no impact.
Will he make the team? This and that.
He's not. If you expect him, nobody's going to have. He's not going to have an impact.
No. But we want to see what he looks like on the floor.
Sure.
Now,
I'm genuinely curious about that too.
The college basketball game is totally different. I can't wait to see Dalton Connect. Connect is my dude.
Oh, he's good.
Connect.
He's ready to roll right now.
I just want to go buy the jersey.
Bronny is a project. This dude's ready.
Yeah, he like 30. That's why. So he been ready. Connect 4. Dalton Connect. Even though he's 23, but I didn't watch a lot of college basketball last year. But George, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. So your boy was on a flight. And when you're on one of those long cross-country flights, you're like, man, what am I about to do? That Netflix
Did you
was
raw
looking.
dog it?
What's up?
Never mind.
That Netflix was like, I think I'd already finished The Wire. So The Wire was my show.
Was your go-to on flights?
Well, no, that was my show for the season. Each season I go back.
A new show.
A new show.
A new old show.
So I'm thinking about GOT. This could be the season.
Oh,
this
Game of Thrones.
The NFL's college football season during my travels.
Right.
I finally catch up to GOT. Game
There you
of
go.
Thrones.
Go do it.
Possibly.
I'm on House of the Dragon. That thing is out of control right now.
Trust me, my wife watches it without me. Like, I gotta go watch House. I'm like, all right,
It's
get
out of
here. I don't
control.
care. It's
Out of control.
Dragon movie. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what, man? And you know what happened to me? You ever just realize you didn't charge your iPad or your device?
Oh yeah.
I was lucky I was forced to watch college basketball.
And then you saw Tennessee play.
And the game that I was watching was Tennessee. Dalton Connect, they was talking about. And I think they were playing like Mississippi State or somebody.
So you never would have known him otherwise.
Look, the dude in one game, literally, I was like, where has he been? And who is this kid? And so I've been on this Dalton Connect train going way back in the beginning stages of college basketball. I'm like, man, that dude can actually play some basketball.
He
was
out.
coming off so now I'm all in, by the way. So now I'm like, I want to watch more of this kid. The next week he's playing against Kentucky. So I'm like, oh, let me see what he gonna do against Kentucky. Gave Kentucky work.
Yeah.
He gave like 40 that game.
He came like a 40 piece.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. So now I'm not gonna lie to you. I start watching every Dalton Connect game. I did. Only
So you're the
because
expert.
Oh, see, hold on. Didn't Cappy say nobody knew who Dalton Connect was?
He
Come
did
on,
say
man.
that.
Cappy said nobody knew who he was.
Cappy don't know. He wasn't watching.
He don't know. He don't know ball.
He wasn't in them
DeAndre
streets.
says all the
He
time.
does not know anything about no ball.
You
man.
don't know no ball.
Simple as that.
And he just had a name. And then on top of that, a buddy of mine who coaches in college basketball said, Kirk, just want to let you know, that dude wasn't even that guy on Northern Colorado, the team that he was on originally.
Right.
So he
JUCO
had,
product, too.
yeah, he was a JUCO product. He's like, if I told you 5 years ago, this kid, you wouldn't even knew his name at all. In just basketball, even in like lower mid majors, all that. So to see him put in the work, the time, and then to go to like the story that I knew, because like I said, I'm all in on Dalton Connect, and hopefully this is my Dalton Connect love affair that I have. But anyway, the dude played one-on-one with the guys at Tennessee. They was trying to see, hey, was he a good fit? He hadn't transferred yet. I heard that he went in, they worked out, they played 5-on-5, 3-on-3. They left the workout, and the players went straight to the coach, Rick Barnes, and said,
we got to sign that dude.
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah.
They signed him. So for all the people who weren't really Dalton Connect fans, I just had to tell you that story, Jordan.
I appreciate it.
Because Connect is, and then boom, and then I saw the jersey Connect, and he's number 4, and I'm like, that just perfect branding.
I love it. Yeah, I thought it was a great pick. When he fell to the Lakers, when he was falling, I was like, that's the guy they need to take.
I saw it. Yes, you had the text message that he was getting, and you were trying to play it off.
No, I did not. I told the story.
Lindsay was like, "Oh, you already know."
I was the person I was texting was.
I'm teasing.
No.
I got you.
If I would have known,
it was too right though. It was too right.
But it was obvious.
Yeah, it was
once
too
you get
obvious.
to a certain point,
it was obvious that if they didn't draft
if they didn't, it would have been bad.
Now it would have been.
Oh,
crazy.
it would have been bad. I mean, you think people are mad? Like, imagine they would have been mad since Thursday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they mad now. Lindsay has a mad Lakers fan voice. What was the
Well, no, okay. So I was saying to
What's the
George
mad Lakers
when
fan
we were
voice?
doing like our pre-show call, and I was just like, well, people are mad. Like, people are real mad. They're like, what the hell, Lakers? Like, oh, Rob Pelinka said it's hard to make a trade. Like, what are they doing? Why doesn't anybody want to play with them? Like, they're real mad.
Yeah, they are mad.
They're mad online.
Nobody want to play with you.
I don't think that's the case. I think that
Your value, you're a depreciating asset.
Oh, come on. Now, let's talk about that after Radio Tinder, because that's a take I want to hear more about. All right, but first, let me tell you about, speaking of Radio Tinder, brought to you by our friends at Tequila Mandala, award-winning artisanal small batch premium sippy tequila founded by a couple of guys just like you. One from Jalisco, Mexico, the other one born and raised in SoCal, down and downy, with a vision to create a sippy tequila meant for sharing with friends and loved ones. You've seen us talk about it. You've heard us post about, or actually you've heard us talk about it. You've seen us post about it. It should be that way, actually. And you see those beautiful hand-painted round ceramic bottles. I had a little reposado last night when I was getting ready to grill. But have you tried Tequila Mandalaya? Well, what are you waiting for? The nectar of the gods inside, whether it's the Blanco, the Añejo, the Extra Añejo, or that reposado I had yesterday. Elevate your tequila game today and make sure Tequila Mandala's with you at your next occasion, holiday party, anniversary, birthday, carne asada, you name it, go get it. Celebrate with Tequila Mandala today and follow their journey on their social channels at Tequila Mandala. Available everywhere fine tequilas are sold. Visit their website, tequilamandala.com, to find a store or restaurant nearest you. Tequila Mandala, demand the extraordinary. I actually did a little cheers, actually, on the Instagram, on the story. It might still be there, actually, because it was probably around this time. You may be able to get that 23-hour story still at this point. George Sedano, ESPN, Instagram. All right, we're back in a moment. Radio Tinder's next.
June 30th, Copa America, Mexico, Ecuador. But that's in Phoenix. Mercado Northgate is taking care of you. We're going to have a VIP party down in Costa Mesa. Listen all week long to ESPN LA to figure out how you can get invited. We're going to have a party, we're going to get going, and we're going to cheer on El Tri. USA, USA. That's what you're going to be chanting July 1st when the red, white, and blue takes on Uruguay in Copa America. And where are you going to watch it? At the Mercado Northgate in Costa Mesa. Find out how you can get VIP access all week long on ESPN LA.
Beaches, and everybody loved it. She turns 57 today. Happy birthday to the great Pamela Anderson. You can follow her at Lindsay Baseball on Twitter or Instagram. Don't forget about our sponsor, Tequila Mandala. Always swipe right on Tequila Mandala, founded in the city of Downey, home of the Mandala Bar, the new Mandala Bar, founded in the city of Downey, just like me. Take it away, Pretty 17.
This is a great theme song.
I mean, this was a show for sure.
The movie was even good.
What's that?
The movie was actually pretty good. Not
I don't know
like
about
good.
that. I didn't watch no Baywatch movie.
I liked it because Zac Efron was
David Hasselhoff.
something to look at. And The Rock.
I thought you were going to talk about like a Baywatch movie, not the Baywatch rock movie.
No. This one was.
I forgot they even did that movie.
I didn't really pay much attention in the movie. Like I'm not gonna lie. It was
David Hasselhoff.
those are like my two favorite guys, The Rock and Zac Efron.
I mean, this is basically like the type of show. I mean, there was an episode of Friends, I remember, where Chandler and Joey, and I wasn't like this huge Friends guy. My wife is, but so she's always watching it. But it's a funny episode because they're literally like sitting there in front of the TV, and they're like, let's say they're talking in like their apartment or whatever, and all of a sudden like one of them will grab the other, like, whoa, we gotta run to the TV right now. And it's like, why? They're running. And they're, obviously it's the women running in their bathing suits. So and they would just stare there. Look at her run. Yeah. Whoa, look at that.
That was it back in the day.
Back in the day, that's what you were getting.
That's
You
like
either
when-
that or you had Skinamax
Right.
late at night.
That's like when fake
Hooters.
boobs like really, really came on the
show.
scene.
I mean, the place to go
Yeah.
eat at. That was it. That's as a young guy, my little young days.
I was a Hooters girl. I made hella money there working the lunch shift.
Any skin.
Like, I worked for like 4
You showed some
hours.
skin back then. It was like, whoa.
Right.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah, now it's like bartenders just walk around in their thongs and they probably make so much money.
Yeah, now you
No, it's okay.
you have to send home, code of conduct and what to wear, dress codes at middle schools now.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's dumb. Mm-hmm. By the way,
No spaghetti straps.
Listen, that was always a rule. Actually, ours was two fingers. If you put your two fingers up on your shoulder, your tank top had to be wider. The strap had to be wider than 2 fingers. Otherwise, they'd give you a really ugly T-shirt and they'd make you wear it around all day. I got nailed for that one all the time.
Hey, can we pot up Brian real quick? Do we have ESPN on right now? Is it in there? Because he's talking about Klay spurning the Lakers for Dallas.
15 or 20 years, don't get booed. But it's hard. It's hard to end things this way. And look, the reason that they stopped playing him is because he wasn't getting it done. The reason that they only offered him, what's that?
Yeah, I'm thinking of the 0 for 10 in the the play-in game and all that. But
they felt that the other players were better options.
Well, no. Let me also say this really quickly. I've never shared this
This is
before out of
Richard
respect
Jefferson.
to Klay.
Nice suit.
Getting off the elevator Christmas Day. This is on Christmas Day.
Of this past year?
Of this past year. I get off the elevator and I see Klay. I'm like, oh, Klay, what's up? He's like, oh, what's up? I'm like, hey, man, keep your mentals right. He's like, man, tell him to pay me my money. This was on Christmas Day. So on Christmas Day, a guy that had won 4 championships, and I don't give a damn what anybody says, how much money they gave him over the years because he turned their franchise around. That franchise is worth billions of dollars, not just because of Steph, it's also because of Klay. They changed the game. It wasn't just Steph changing the game. It was Steph and Klay in that backcourt.
Absolutely.
So I say that he has a right to be mad.
He bet on himself.
Yes.
He said, I don't want the 2 years, $48 million.
Mm-hmm.
He bet on himself, and then he didn't have a good year.
But that's fine. That's
his
fine.
standard.
You can have hundreds of millions and have a bad year and be like, you know what that does? That means if you're going to treat me this way, I'm going to go someplace else. And now the Warriors are left, and Klay's in a much better situation than the Warriors are.
And he walked for nothing.
And walked for nothing.
Almost nothing.
They got 2 second-round picks. That's nothing.
But here's the thing. Even Klay bad year was better than a lot of guys' great year.
I agree with that, and they were willing to pay him $24 million a year.
Yeah, but Wendy, it goes back to the point of what he watched other guys get, right? When you go back to watching Draymond Green, if you go look at when he got his $100 million, his stat line wasn't eye candy.
Ooh.
It damn sure wasn't attractive.
And it wasn't coming off a perfect year either.
Yeah, so it was almost as if, they were paying him for what he done in the past and not what he's going to be able to offer in the future. Klay, damn, I was part of this, and I helped build this.
Yep.
Why I'm not getting the same respect?
Yeah,
but
he had reasons to turn it down. I'm not saying he had his reasons to turn it down, but then he was playing in a situation where they literally said, we're going to take you out to finish games, we're going to take you out the starting lineup. Like,
right.
That happened.
I think timing is important here. So Wiggins gets his new deal, and Klay's looking around at all this. Wiggins gets his new deal after they win the title and after he plays the best basketball of his life. Draymond gets his new deal a year later after in the second round. The difference is he's an unrestricted free agent. It's a now or never kind of thing. Klay had time left. I'm not saying it's right, and like if you're Klay, you helped make this team what it is, and the bitterness is completely justified.
But at the end of the day,
all right, that's enough.
That's great
Radio
great
Tinder.
points by everybody. Great points by everybody, though.
I mean, listen, I get why Klay's mad. Like, I do. I get it. And
Is he mad, though? Like, has he said, like, he's mad? They all.
I mean, you heard what Richard said.
Yeah, pay me my money.
But I'm saying, like, bitter. Like, would you describe him as somebody who seems like he's, like, bitter or, like, really angry?
I mean,
there's a emotional shock of. I remember the day that I got traded from the Raiders. I still remember the time, the day, and how I felt. I didn't care anybody in silver and black. You were dead to me.
Wow.
Yeah. Straight up. That's how you.
Yeah,
I'm talking about close friends.
Right.
Everybody. Like, I didn't want to talk to anybody that wore the silver. It takes time. It really is going to take. Like, that first game between Mavericks, Warriors, Klay's trying to go for 50. I'm just telling you. He's going to try, hey, give it to me all night, fellas. Give me the ball all night. Because I'm trying to. You are so against the franchise that brought you in. There is no love right now. Now, eventually, that subsides. You understand the business of it. You come back.
But not
around.
right now. It's too raw still.
I'm telling you, it is a moment right now where he doesn't want anything to do with anybody over there.
Do you think that they, like, did him dirty?
Well, I think he thinks that. I think
Do you
heard
think,
what.
though, that they did?
No matter what, you're always gonna feel like you're dirty. Remember,
I mean,
he's of the trio. He's the one that had to go. Like, he left first. Like, think about it. It's been Steph, Dre, and Klay. How long they've been doing it. Like Richard Jefferson said, they built this organization up. It wasn't, look, Steph may be, 75% the reason why, maybe 60%. I give Klay 25%, and then Draymond just being Draymond is the other part of it that filled it up, that brought this organization to where it's at now. And he's the first person to go. Like,
and then they paid Wiggins and they paid Poole and that stuff, sits with you.
Just kind of get screwed based on, like they said, like it was just how the timing worked out.
Bad timing.
Yeah.
Bad
All
timing.
right, Radio Tinder. Let's squeeze in something. Go.
All right, guys. So on our list of holidays today is International Joke Day. So I want to ask you guys if you have like a go-to dad joke or stupid joke, because I know like my dad's full of jokes, especially cheesy dad jokes. And to this day, he will still like, okay, two things he always does is whenever we're in an elevator, like if there's an elevator attendant, he'll be like, "How are you today, sir?" And like they'll be like, "Fine, how are you?" And he'll be like, "I bet this job has its ups and downs." Like that's when he always does. And it makes me laugh every time. Or when we go to a restaurant and they're like, going to seat us and they're like, "Oh, how many would you like, a booth or a table?" And he'll be like, "Oh, I'd like a seat or a table with a nice view of the ocean." And it's literally like Outback Steakhouse with no view. And he's always got his cheesy dad jokes. So what are your what's like your go-to joke?
Oh, I got one. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Is it a knock-knock joke?
It sure is.
Oh yes,
You
my
know it.
favorite.
You ready? All right, Lindsay, here we go. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Ach.
Ach, who?
Bless you. Took DeAndre a little bit.
Took him a second to get it.
DeAndre was like, "What? Oh, aha."
Punchy, I know you got a good joke. Like you had a good cheesy joke. No, George, you got one in you. You got kids, little kids.
I don't. My kids aren't old enough for dad jokes
I get
yet.
the dad jokes always.
Yeah, I'm not old enough. They're minor. I don't feel like you're old enough for that.
I feel like I'm on the spot. Like you put me on the spot.
What's
now,
another
but I
one?
like more.
I did, by the way. I bought my brother-in-law a book of dad jokes that he for his bathroom books, and every time I see him, he'll like just reel them off to me, and they get me every time.
Michael Thompson has a ton of them. I remember this one. How do you make a tissue dance?
Put a little boogie in it.
There you go.
That's a good one.
There you go.
Put a little boogie in it.
There you go.
Kirk, what's another good dad joke?
I'm trying to think of some, and I've used all my good material already.
Yeah.
I mean, Giannis is when he tells them, even though they're people's jokes. To me, the funniest thing about that was like watching him actually laugh at those jokes, like when he's reading them.
Giannis is just funny in general. Like he's just, I remember like just him telling the story.
He's
of the
really
first
not
time.
that funny.
He's not a failure, Eric.
Not funny, but like his experience.
I think
like
Giannis is like the least funny dude that thinks he's funny
I
in
don't
the
think
NBA.
George is a fan of Giannis.
I'm not saying like he's funny in terms of like joke funny, But like the first time when he talked about, oh my God, I got to tell you about this happening last night.
Like Oreos. The first time he ate Oreos and he was mind blown.
The first time I dunked the Oreo in milk and I put it in my mouth, I said, what is this? Oh my God. Like that to me is hilarious because here we it's just dunking Oreos. Like everybody dunks a cookie. But I guess he'd never experienced an Oreo dunked in milk and he ate it and it was softness, gushiness that he was so happy about.
I mean, it is like an overwhelming of the sensories experience.
And then, the first time he had a corn dog, what is this? What is this? You put bread around a dog and I eat it and it is amazing.
I like your Giannis.
He's not a failure, Eric.
So I was like saying, he's not funny in terms of ha funny, joke funny, but watching him experience things that we kind of take for granted, for me, corn dogs, that's part of life. You go to a ball game, go get you a corn dog, put some mustard
loves
on
corn
it.
dogs.
Corn dogs is fire. Fire.
Has a
not me, dog. I'm not a hot dog, corn dog person to begin with. You know what I mean? I have a hot dog once a year, twice a year max.
So you can't never roll with me to Costco.
Nah, bro.
You can't never roll with me to Costco.
No.
Right.
They know me. They not $150. I get you a hot dog and a drink.
Oh, okay. So
$3,
that's
we
kind of
good.
like the George Sedano flex.
Hey there, I'm George Sedano. No, I just don't like hot dogs. It has nothing to do with flex.
No, I'm just saying he's got the flex. They give him, that's a hookup because he's Kirk Morrison.
$1.50.
No, I think that's what they charge everybody.
That's how much they charge.
Oh, no, you said it comes with a drink.
Charge at Costco.
You said it's $1.50 for the hot dog and a drink.
Yeah, that's the price.
That's the price.
Okay.
And the Costco owner, I don't have his name. DeAndre, you got to help me. Funches, help me. He said, as long as I'm owning Costco,
that's what the price
with
will be.
Inflation, I don't care. I'm never changing the price. Hot dog and a 20-ounce fountain drink, $1.50.
That's right.
There you go.
Funch has a quick radio Tinder.
Also, the cookie's not bad either. If you had the new cookie at Costco,
I'm trying not to have more. So you know what people are doing now?
What?
They're buying 2 cookies
and getting
the ice cream and turning them into an ultimate cookie sandwich and cutting it in 4s.
Yeah. So good.
See, I follow Costco at home.
I don't shop it.
That's a big back meal.
Big back.
I don't shop at Costco because it's just me,
All right, guys. Arash Markazi is reporting the Clippers' lease across the street at Crypto.com Arena officially ran out as of midnight this morning. So the Clips are no longer tenants across the street, moving to the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. It got me to thinking about what is the greatest memory for the Clippers across the street at Staples Center / Crypto.com Arena, and I can't think of one.
I was going to say none of them.
I can't. Can you think of one, Sedano?
Yeah.
Well, they got to the conference finals, right? So they had to have been playing a conference finals game.
Yeah.
Right? They had never been there before.
Yeah, I went to that conference final, Game 7 against the Spurs. I went to one. I was at that one.
The Chris Paul shot. We were talking about
the Chris Paul shot.
No, but that was not a conference finals.
That was
semis.
Semifinals. Yep, I was there, Game 7. Yeah. I think my memory of the Clippers is always going to be the selfies. Right, hanging the banners hanging up from the rafters. That was. Think about it. They really hung pictures of their players from the rafters to cover up all the banners of the Lakers.
Blake Griffin jumping over to Kia. I don't know. That's what I can think of.
Did that happen in LA?
I don't think that happened here.
That happened, yes, it did at the All-Star game here.
Was it here?
That was in LA.
Yeah, it's happened at Staples. Yes,
I
was
can't.
there.
My favorite memory there was when I went to the only time I went to a Clippers game there, and it was the Clippers-Lakers game, but the Clippers were the home team. And Paul Wall performed at halftime, and my mind was blown at how many people didn't know who Paul Wall was.
Ooh, okay. I do have a memory. It's kind of a bad memory. But it's a memory. I'm at a Clippers game. They're playing against the Golden State Warriors, and Draymond Green and Kevin Durant got into it. Ooh. Remember, last seconds of the game, Draymond Green rebounds the basketball. He's dribbling up court. Kevin Durant is calling for the ball. Kevin Durant didn't get the ball. They lose the game, and then the rest is history. It was like, hey, we won before you, and a lot of expletives going on, and that's what's fractured KD and the Warriors, or KD
honestly,
and Draymond Green. I was at that game. It was the Clippers. They ended up winning, but that was the game that fractured Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and the Warriors. And remember, I think Steph wasn't available. He wasn't playing, but it was a big thing for the rest of the year.
Well, I would say this. I know they won one without him, and I'm glad that they did.
Yes.
Because they felt like they needed it.
Correct.
They did need it.
They did.
But
because otherwise
what?
Cleveland!
This is for you. Oh, here we go.
Get out of here.
That's why they went and got Kevin Durant, just saying.
Cleveland only won because Draymond kicked LeBron in the ding-ding.
Very true.
Changed the entire series.
Stop.
I mean, even
did.
they admit it now. You know what I mean? Like,
it wasn't even a kick, man. Come on. It was like a get off me.
Okay, and then you could say,
no, he deserved it. He deserved it.
Come on, man.
No, he deserved getting tossed for the next game. I don't think there's any question. He deserved it.
Just give him a fine. We in the playoffs. Just fine him.
But I forgot what the hell I was talking about. We were talking about the Clippers, right?
Yeah,
If Kevin Durant never leaves, they win a couple.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, they win a couple more.
And I'm down there in the finals.
They win a couple more.
Finals down there at the Chase. Down there at the Oracle.
I actually think it was a bad. Like a bad decision. Granted, they won one without him, so it worked out okay for them. But I think for KD, it worked out worse.
But I'm saying, like, just going back to it, like, we don't have Clipper memories. Like,
we don't.
Like, I think I was there right after, because I'm right now, last episode coming out tomorrow of Clipped. Shout out Ramona Shelburne over there on the Hulu. I remember being in crypto or Staples when Donald Sterling was banned from the NBA. And they had to black out a lot of the signage in there. Remember that? Like you walked in, it was like a funeral almost going into a basketball game. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So not a lot of highlights for Clippers.
That might be the best memory for the Clippers there.
Right.
Yeah. Not even the actual game, but that.
Now, another question though. Are you guys a little bit taken back by when you watch now somebody who signs with the Clippers and their new logo is up there and you're like, is this a European soccer team?
No, it's an actual Clipper nautical thing.
I know, but it looks like why is it this? That looks like a basketball player. I'm thinking like it's a European soccer team.
Yeah.
So they got to figure this out because Clippers, that was easy. You knew what it was. Now I'm looking at it. I'm like, is this PSG? Is that like Byron Munich? I don't know. Like, look at it. I was watching it yesterday. It was just like
I actually like it better than what they were using.
I got to
before.
get used to it though.
Yeah,
George.
that's what it is. Yeah.
When they open the Intuit Dome, then maybe I can start to see it more. But right now,
that place is gonna be nice. You should go there.
I saw it yesterday. I went to Magic Johnson Park this weekend. Was hanging out, and I drove by.
That's right. You and DeMarco.
DeMarco rode off the 105, and I was
nobody
like,
could confuse you for each other there because you were there together.
Oh no, they still got us. They still got us. Same thing. Like, hey, you DeMarco, right?
They had to wear name tags.
All right, I want to get into next. I know we got a break. Just break. It's fine. Like, how about just combine it and we'll come back early and we'll do multiple things. I want to get Todd Gurley apparently got real candid about the Rams situation a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He went on a podcast and talked about McVay and that situation with the Rams. And so he's revealed that for the first time. We've finally heard from him many years later. So I want to hear that. And I want to get, you mentioned the Clippers. I want to know what's next for them. Like, what's next for the Lakers? What's next for the Clippers after kind of both of them striking out in free agency in pretty big ways? So let's get to all that coming up. Stick around. Kirk's in the house, 710 ESPN.
Now on 710 ESPN.
It's time for what you need to know.
Let's do it. What you need to know right now.
What you need to know is brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, just to 90 minutes from wherever you are. By the way, our All-Star Friday night is right around the corner. That means it's time again for our All-Star student nominations, thanks to Rotolo Chevrolet and Capozio Buick GMC. If you know a student that's an All-Star in the classroom, in their sport, and in their community, go to ESPNLA.com to nominate your student. Parents, friends, family, teachers, and coaches can all participate in nominating an All-Star student. So go to ESPNLA.com today. Rotolo Chevrolet and Capozio Buick GMC. Come see what the fun is all about.
You know who else is going to be at Morongo? Omarion.
Oh, yeah?
I saw the commercial.
Come on
Really?
Yeah, look it up. Morongo Casino, Omarion.
There you go.
You're a big B2K fan?
I mean, back in the day, a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
That was a banger.
A couple of little tracks.
All right, Linz, what do you got?
All right, so you know how a lot of times when like a popular movie or show comes out, they'll do these little pop-up restaurant experiences.
Yes.
And in honor of the upcoming Beetlejuice sequel, the Tim Burton Beetlejuice sequel, they're going to have a Beetlejuice immersive experience in Hollywood. And it starts in late August. I believe it's August 23rd. So obviously it's going to be, like I said, like a lot of these other pop-ups where it's a restaurant that has Beetlejuice-themed dinners, drinks, and parts of the movie sets that are recreated, so you can take all kinds of photos by them. To me, I think that's one of like the cooler pop-up experiences because Beetlejuice is so out there. So tickets for the event start at $25, and they go on sale on Wednesday. And it includes the food, a soft drink or non-alcoholic drink, but then you can purchase those extra, and then you get to take all the pictures that you want. So I'm definitely going to go check that out. Because it looks pretty awesome, and so does the Beetlejuice sequel.
I feel like I'm a hard pass on that one.
Really? You don't like Beetlejuice?
I mean, I like Beetlejuice, but it was so long ago. Like, I feel like they've wasted so much time in between.
Well, part 2's coming back, so yeah. I mean, they're trying to promote the movie and
but it's like, so when I think of pop-ups, I'm thinking of like Stranger Things, the pop-up.
Yes,
sure.
Like that was like okay because it was in the present,
Right.
Like,
But I
those
think if the
pop-ups-
pop-up rolls while the movie is out, I think more people will start going to it.
I
think
will
is
say,
the
though,
point.
a lot of these pop-up experiences are like a big nostalgia play because I remember when like the Saved by the Bell one came out, me and
Yes, I
all
went.
my friends went to that. You could not get tickets to that thing.
That was sold
And
out.
Saved
I got
by
it. Yeah,
the Bell.
it was fun, too.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. Like nobody was like, it's not like they had like a reunion show. It was just out of nowhere. And then they did a couple other ones that were like
I know
nostalgia.
they did one for the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
Like if they did a pop-up, because I saw it was in the works for, I think, what Ice Cube said they're going to try to do a Last Friday. Like if they did like a Last Friday pop-up and you had like some of the things like, Big Worms, ice cream van, and like the kitchen where Craig was over there eating his cereal. Like I would go to a Last Friday pop-up because it was like a whole Friday sequel, you know what I mean? But I feel like with Beetlejuice,
Oh, I'm in. I'm so in. Beetlejuice is a classic.
what's the age demographic? Like how old you gotta be to really fall into the
I don't know. I mean, it
Beetlejuice.
came out in like 1988, 87.
So
but
that's like 35 and up really
I-
understand Beetlejuice.
Yeah, but I wasn't even born, I don't think, when it came out. And I mean, I love Beetlejuice. Like, I was scared to death of it when I was a kid, but it's one of my favorite movies now. It's a great movie.
No, it was a good movie though. I mean, I love Beetlejuice. I gotta watch the first one all over
Oh, yeah,
again
you
to
got to
really
watch it now.
remember Beetlejuice again.
Little raunchy, but it's
All
great.
right.
It's great.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I haven't watched the
been a
movie
while,
in a long, long time, but I remember liking the movie.
And plus, a lot of the original characters are going to be in it.
Right.
So, and the girl who played in the Addams Family movie, Wednesday, she plays, I think, Lydia's daughter. So, and oh my gosh, Jenna Ortega.
See, I gotta go watch it again just to remember
Yeah.
the
Right.
moments.
Yeah.
So I guess
So Winona Ryder's in the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See, all right, hold your purse.
Pretty sure Michael Keaton's in it too.
Well, who said
Well,
that?
obviously Michael Keaton's in the movie. He's Beetlejuice.
I know, but a lot of people are like, "Oh, they're gonna have to cast a new Beetlejuice," and it's just
No,
like,
why? Beetlejuice already looked wrecked as hell. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
they made a handsome man look very gross and disgusting.
right. So he's older now. It'll be a little
He
easier.
just played Batman. He can do anything.
That's right.
He did. He was right. He played old Batman.
And plus now they can de-age you and do all that crazy stuff like they did with when they did the last Indiana Jones. That was kind of creepy.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is what you need to know. Brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. All right. So Todd Gurley. What did Todd Gurley say about his time with the Rams? So he was on, what podcast was he on?
It's the 25 and 10 podcast.
25 and 10.
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy is 25 and Deshaun Jackson, number 10. Two former teammates
Eagles.
with the Eagles.
Yeah. So 25-10 podcast, and Todd Gurley came on and had this to say about your Los Angeles Rams.
I was one of them dudes that I understood how Sean McVay was. So it was a type of thing where they was like, they're saving him, they were trying to protect him. But at the end of the day, money play a big issue. Yeah, and sometimes, notoriety, you getting bigger than the coach want to feel like it's his show. All that. We're going to get right to it. Was there a time where you felt the way towards McVay for not putting you in? Because I know how you are. You want to talk that rock.
Yeah, it wasn't like him, but it was like, damn. But it wasn't like him, but it was like him.
Yeah.
But, still trying to be the team guy. You know what I'm saying? Not really trying to, really trip. But then I'm just like, y'all want to pay me to sit down? All right, well, goddamn, so be it.
So if you remember, by the end of Todd Gurley's tenure here, he had already dealt with he dealt with an injury even before he walked in the door. You know what I'm saying? So, he just didn't look like the same dude anymore.
Correct. That last couple years of how they had to handle Todd Gurley, his injury history.
Right.
Remember, he never practiced he practiced, but he never did much. He would get days off for a guy who was only in his 4th, 5th year in the league during training camp.
Right.
They had to.
And they used him a lot in games.
It was the
early.
Todd Gurley plan, remember?
Right.
Todd Gurley had his own training camp. And Sean McVay had to, cater a lot of things toward a guy. Remember, he inherited Todd Gurley, by the way.
Right.
He didn't draft him. And if you've seen Sean McVay's history, it's been a running back by committee.
Yeah.
It's been,
it's very Mike Shanahan.
Yes. It's, they have one or two guys. I mean, they went to the Super Bowl with C.J. Anderson as their lead tailback. Right? They had guys that just kind of go through. So he was featuring Todd, but Todd really, he got the most out of Todd Gurley. Everybody knew that the running story around NFL circles with Todd Gurley was that he's got literally a 4 to 5 year shelf life, and his knees weren't going to hold up.
Right.
I think what happens also, too, is that we got to remember who the quarterback was at the time.
Right, Jared Goff.
So a lot of times there were situations, and then maybe Sean has gotten past this, or he was so analytically driven when he was the head coach early in his career, was that everyone knew that, hey, to stop the Rams, we're going to load up and not run. We're going to stop the run. And so with Todd Gurley, everybody's like, okay, they're going to run the ball. And they was like, no, we're going to make sure they don't run it. And Sean McVay, to his detriment, would say, okay, we're going to pass it. And there was a lot of games where the Rams should have just said, we don't care if you're going to
load up the box, right?
With Jeff Fisher, it was different, right? People forget the Jeff Fisher year of 2016. Jeff Fisher.
I do because I slept through most of it.
If you have 15 men in the box, Jeff Fisher's we go still run the ball.
Right.
Sean McVay was an analytical guy. If you have too many guys who are in the front, Sean's like, I'm about to throw it. I'm about to show you what my offense can do. I'm the young hot shot. I'm the young kid, this, and that. But again, they paid him his money, though. So I think he's upset at the fact that, man, I felt like I could have did more. But at the end of the day, he was like, I got a contract when the running back market wasn't getting contracts.
Right.
Todd Gurley got paid.
He got paid?
Early, too.
Yeah.
It wasn't like these late contracts. You see what Christian McCaffrey getting paid now? He got paid at a time where running backs did get paid, and he got paid.
Right.
Do you think that there's any truth to what he said about, Sean McVay comes in, he's the young, like you said, hot shot quarterback, and maybe sometimes the coach doesn't want you to, outshine him? That seemed like kind of a weird suggestion.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was outshine, but Sean McVay came in running his offense.
Yeah.
He was the wonder kid, the guru. Think about it. We're talking about the Sean McVay effect, how people run training camp, how people do the offense, how many coaches from his coaching tree are now head coaches in the National Football League. Sean McVay changed the NFL.
Yeah.
And put it like this, Todd Gurley has retired, had an unbelievable
made $54 million guaranteed over his career.
Unbelievable 3 to 4 year run. Sean McVay, it feels like he's still just getting started. Remember, he turned down the opportunity to make how many $1 million to do
20.
Amazon? $20 million a year to do Amazon. He's like, no, I'm good. It'll always be there. So Sean McVay is just, I give him a ton of credit. He's innovative, and to watch his coaching branch out, like, that's, again, it always comes back to LA sports, right? I'm looking here, and you see the foundation that's been built, and I talked about it earlier about depreciating assets.
Right.
There are guys who, when they go somewhere and when they leave there, they still can play at a high level. Whereas there's some places you go, they leave there, and they're no longer the same player. That's what happens a lot of times. Not necessarily with the Rams, because they're okay. They'll let you go somewhere else. But, man, I give Todd Gurley a bunch of credit. I love watching him run the football. But, George, at some point, you got to make tough decisions.
You do?
You got to make tough decisions.
The Warriors made one.
And the Lakers got to make some tough decisions.
Right.
In order to.
But what is that?
Yeah, but
what does the Lakers making tough decisions look like?
But
to you, I'm curious.
To me, it's what is your core? Your core, we know, obviously, is LeBron and AD.
And then what?
And then what? What is the next piece that you consider untradeable? Because people would love to do a deal with the Lakers, but what are you willing to give up? And is that piece something that you think
Austin Reeves is the guy everybody wants.
So that's the one.
But they're not willing to give it up.
And why not?
But here's the thing.
I would love to hear JJ's philosophy, though. What does JJ Redick think? Because we think, look, there's Rob, and now we're going to learn what JJ thinks.
I'm sure he thinks Austin is going to be great. But I would say this. I think that the time to move Austin was for DeJounte Murray. That was the time to do it.
Missed that window.
The window is gone. I think you were getting a better player in that scenario who was also on a cost-controlled contract for a guy of his stature.
Yep.
And Austin probably, again, the problem is they want the value of Austin outperforming his contract, which they're going to get.
Right.
But there's levels to this, right? Him outperforming his contract is not the same as DeJounte Murray potentially outperforming his contract.
Right.
Because there is a different level of player there, in my estimation.
No, different caliber, yeah.
And that's just it. And that's not a knock on anybody, right? Because it feels like in today's day and age, if you're saying a comment like that, it's like, oh, you're hating on Austin Reeves. No, I'm not hating on Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves is a very good player. I think DeJounte Murray is a borderline great player. Like, that's the difference. There's a level to it.
Good players bring pieces too, and you have to feel like, okay, as much as I want this piece, there's a better piece. I mean, I remember talking to like general managers, man, head coaches in the NFL. Like, my job is to replace you. I can draft you, but then my job is still to replace you. I got to find a better player than you. So there is no like, the love that you have for a guy that you just drafted. You're like, man, this is my guy. But no. Business is like, I got to get somebody better than you.
Correct.
I have to go with the next. That's just what we were just talking to Todd Gurley. Todd was great, but at the end, I had to go out and draft Cam Akers. I had to go draft somebody to draft someone who's better than you.
Correct, 100%. And what I would add to you is this: if you had DeJounte Murray on this team, there's probably some older veteran guys who look at the Lakers roster and say, maybe that group I'll go there because I think they're closer. You know what I'm saying? And again, not a knock on Austin, right?
Yeah.
It's just people around the league look at Murray a little differently, okay? And that's just it. But you're not in that situation, so there's no reason to lament it. Although our friend Nick Wright, well, I have not specifically blamed Rob. I do think there are things that fall under Rob's jurisdiction. I've repeatedly said this franchise, quote unquote, loves to be collaborative. That is their word. Okay, they work, whether it's the front office with the ownership or the front office with the players, the two-star players, and vice versa, right? All of it is collaborative. So they are all in this together for whatever it's worth, okay? Now, it doesn't mean that they're all necessarily always in agreement with each other, but at the end of the day, that, you know, what ends up happening is because they have collaborated on this. And when they haven't, you hear it because the players are the first to tell you when it wasn't collaborative, whether it's aggressively or passive-aggressively, right? We know that is the case. So Nick Wright, our friend of the program on his Fox Sports 1 show, had this to say about the Lakers general manager.
I am baffled at the total inability of Rob Pelinka to get anything done ever. How many times are we going to hear about the Lakers being in on something and then the front office not being able to get it done? You have a scenario where the greatest player of his generation, in my opinion, the greatest player ever, says, you know what, I'll take a pay cut. You have a scenario where a player clearly wants to stick it to his former team in Golden State. His daddy broadcasts the games, and they're on the water.
Because, you know, he has a boat.
He has a boat.
Yeah. So he's always at Marina Del
And he's
Rey.
got a house.
He's there on the water?
He's got a house in Hermosa or
right,
Redondo or something, right? It's
Oh,
like- yeah, somewhere like that.
So they dropped the ball. It's okay.
It is and it isn't. I would say it is in the sense of like, it's not that they dropped the ball and it's not his inability to do anything. It is what I would say is the misjudgment of D'Angelo Russell's worth. And I think that is, as far as a contract.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that the misjudgment of D'Angelo Russell's worth in the open market is what's cost the Lakers. And when I have, people, again, they say I'm really hard on D'Angelo Russell. Okay. I don't think I'm hard on him. I think people here expected more than what he's capable of providing.
Right.
Again, a good player, not a great player. And again, there's nothing wrong with being a good player. In the right situation, good players are incredibly necessary. But what the Lakers need, okay, is for their good players to be great more often than not. And because they don't have enough great players on their team. So you're asking guys to play above their head, and that's not necessarily fair. But the reality is, to your point earlier, is that as a general manager, outside of a few core pieces, you got to look at all the other stuff as interchangeable.
Everything.
And when they made the deal with D'Angelo Russell, they thought that was a good deal, that they would be able to move, and it has shown time and time again that it is not worth the value they perceived it to have. And that's not me ripping Pelinka or ripping D'Angelo. That is the facts of the matter, at least currently at 6:15, okay, on July 1st, 2024, the year of the Lord.
It's just like a bedroom set. You know what I'm saying? Like a bed. Like, you go to your bedroom, your bed is right there. I could change out pillows. I could do a new comforter. I could do a new lamp. I could do a new rug. But the bed never changes. You hear what I'm saying? The bed never changes. This is my Jameis Winston, but the bed never changes. I think that's what happened. That's your core. The core of the room is always going to be the bed. You can change that other stuff around.
Yeah.
You could change all. You're like, you know what? I got that lamp, but it ain't really working. Let me go get another lamp. That's what they got to think about.
Even a dresser occasionally.
You could dress it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe put a new TV in there.
Yeah.
Maybe redo the lighting. But you know what ain't going to
Some
never
curtains.
change?
Yeah.
What ain't going to never change?
The bed.
That bed.
Yeah.
That core.
Yeah.
So what do you value most? What do you value most outside of the betting?
See, is it a financial thing with the Lakers? Because, I mean, Valanciunas' name was tied with them, correct? And he signed for $30 million with the Are they looking at? Are these players looking at it as like, okay, I see how the roster's built?
Well, I think the Lakers could not have offered Valanciunas even $10 million with its current roster because of the way that their cap is tied up. Okay, they needed to get under that number, which means for Valanciunas to make 10, I mean, this is me guessing, right? For Valanciunas to get what he got, I think LeBron had to come, and again, not moving D'Angelo for nothing, right? Because that's what you're also trying to do, or for less money, right? You're trying to get less back in that scenario. LeBron would have had to have taken a $30 million salary. You know what I'm saying? For Valanciunas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was going to have to take 25 just for Klay. So, and that's not happening. Like, that was that part of it. Like, that's not a haircut. That's a cut.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? So, like, that ain't going to happen. And LeBron's going to get the full max now because there aren't any players left available that made sense. But the idea was LeBron was going to take a pay cut because they were going to be able to move D'Lo to a team with space or for in some sort of 3-team deal, perhaps, where they're not getting a ton of salary back. You know what I'm saying?
So
because teams have trade exemptions and stuff that they can plug in those scenarios. That's a little too in the weeds. But my point is, they weren't going to get a ton back from a salary perspective for D'Lo to be able to make up that difference and then pay Klay or pay Valanciunas or whatever.
I mean, free agency just started, and you look at a roster and you say, are we better right now currently than how we left off?
Lakers, go. TV, they're talking about them right now. Let's hear what these guys are talking about.
I mean, I don't know about you guys. There's a lot of names up here, so take it all in. This looks really similar to last year's team once you add in LeBron James. That would be 15 guys on the roster. So, Shanae, joining us back at the desk here, can the Lakers afford to run back this same roster and improve on their standings in the playoffs? This is a team that won just one playoff game last year.
Absolutely not. I mean, they need more players. The roster is their biggest issue. And I feel like the Lakers, teams are making moves, and the Lakers are waiting for their glow up.
I miss you.
Thank you. I've been here. I've been chilling the whole time. The Lakers are still waiting for their glow up, and it may not come. I feel like Richard knows a lot about that, a little bit.
When the glow ups don't come.
It never came. But if you think about, the teams that were in the NBA Finals, they both were the top 2 3-point shooting teams. The Lakers are bottom 3 in that category. They've hired an analytical coach in J.J. Redick, but you still have to have the players. You can't have the coach shooting the threes for you. You have to have the players. So to me, the roster is a big issue. And if you're striking out, that puts more pressure on the coaching, a first-time head coach who's going to try to make more with less, and that's a very difficult position for him.
You know what's crazy? LeBron James basically betted Rob Pelinka $20+ million that he couldn't do his damn job. And guess what? Rob Pelinka ain't do his damn job. The world knew that LeBron James wanted Klay. His mama called him Klay, I'ma call him Klay. They need shooting. Let me tell you something about LeBron James and J.J. Redick. We're not just tossing around the terminology of brilliant basketball minds. Both of those guys are brilliant basketball minds. Both of those guys are also sharks, meaning when you get around them, you got to be on your best. What's wrong?
No, keep going.
We're nodding with you.
You got to be on your best stuff. Iron sharpens iron.
Right.
If Rob Pelinka need to be careful, and he need to step his game up, because when you're dealing with someone, especially a guy like JJ, and I know he's the first-year head coach, but JJ, he dots his I's and crosses his T's. He's in his book. He is doing his homework. He is doing everything behind the scene. He's one of the most hardworking guys that I've ever been around, especially in this basketball space.
So you mentioned Klay Thompson. Brian, you laid this out, that the Mavericks were always a step ahead of the Los Angeles Lakers in this because they created the space to be able to sign him to a deal that simply did not exist for Los Angeles.
2. They made 2 trades to clear space to get Klay Thompson. One was Tim Hardaway, and one was Josh Green today.
Yep.
They made 2 trades. Here's the thing, not 6 months ago, not 16 days ago, like last week when they introduced J.J. Redick as head coach, Rob Pelinka sat up there in front of everybody and said, we are going to focus on development of young players. We're going to focus on our draft picks. We're not going to trade our draft picks. That's what he said. LeBron saying, I'm going to take a pay cut for a guy in his mid-30s is not doing that. What move have the Lakers made so far this offseason? They signed Max Christie to a $32 million deal. That's a developmental player. That's a guy who didn't even play. That shows a plan that to follow through with what they said, to keep the picks, to develop the players. That is not with let's trade a bunch of guys away and give extra picks to do it. The Mavericks I think they traded 5 picks to get rid of those 2 players to get Klay Thompson. So the Lakers are trying to stick to a plan. It doesn't seem like it equals what LeBron wants to do, but they did draft Bronny, and LeBron's about to sign for $160 million. So
it's chess.
I think LeBron likes being a Laker, and he's going to stay being a Laker. But the Lakers and LeBron are not really showing the same priorities right now.
The Lakers are a good team. I mean, I don't mean that facetiously. They're a good team in the Western Conference. That's a hard thing to be. They're not a great team. As currently constructed, they don't really have a pathway to becoming a great team. I think they're going to do something in the next few days to tinker on their roster. We'll see if it's a big move, a medium-sized move, a small move, but this is just what they are, and they are telegraphing that we have to plan for a post-LeBron world, and part of that is player development, staying flexible with a bunch of mid-sized contracts, keeping our draft picks, unless we could make a smaller trade. We spent the whole year talking about what they're going to have 3 picks to trade. Oh, my God, the mega players they could get. Maybe there's a smaller, medium-sized trade that's like one of the picks and somebody goes out the door, but they're telegraphing what they want to do. And they're really saying there isn't a big move that vaults us up to the top of the West. We are who we are. We're good. That's fine.
It sounds like the Lakers are in jeopardy. So let's bring in our Alex Trebek here. Why can't the Lakers improve here for 1,000, Bobby?
Well, here's where the Lakers are right now. This is before LeBron James signs with them. They're at $140 million. The dreaded second apron is $189 million. And we're going to go into that as far as what some of these restrictions are. If LeBron re-signs at a starting salary of $50 million, Malika, that gets you at the second apron. So what does that mean? That means a player like D'Angelo Russell cannot be traded and more money comes back. So if Russell is traded, they cannot take back a player earning $20 million. They cannot aggregate with Rui Hachimura and take back a player earning $36 million. You cannot combine salary. Those are some of the restrictions that the Lakers face about LeBron James at $50 million. That's why we've been talking about the discount. $38 million, $37 million. Does it get you maybe DeMar DeRozan? You got to be creative here. So I think maybe keep an eye on DeRozan over the next 48 hours, possibly. But it's going to have to be at $38, $36 million. It cannot be at that $50 million number because here are all your restrictions that the Lakers have.
All right, keeping an eye on DeMar DeRozan, but we also know our Dave McMenamin said they don't have endless time here. LeBron James, he wants to head into Team USA camp that starts this weekend with that contract signed. So the Lakers, they are under a little bit of pressure here to get this done. Bobby, thank you. Coming up next on NBA.
Now, that changes a whole lot of things.
That's a lot of info right there.
Because
so
let me tell you,
LeBron got to take a pay cut if they want to get some money back.
LeBron, you heard it. If LeBron takes 50, which is less than what he made or he's scheduled to make if he just would have opted in, okay? Yeah. They're already at the dreaded second apron, as you heard, which means they can't take more money back in a deal because they're already at the top. And they can't aggregate guys to trade them.
They can't trade D'Angelo Russell.
Right.
They're stuck with him.
Well, or you have to trade for less than $19.7 million.
Correct.
And you can't combine players in that scenario to make deals in that scenario.
That's a lot. So now you're looking at guys who are at that price range.
It limits you even further, which is why I will repeat what I said a few minutes ago before we went to that on TV during the NBA free agency special that ESPN has going on. They made a miscalculation on D'Angelo Russell's number. If it wasn't evident and clear to you before, it should be right now. That's the reality. And that's not a knock on D'Angelo as a player or as a person. The team made a miscalculation because they perceived that as a deal they could move. Real quick before we go to break, because we have Big Deal or No Deal next, we do our WNBA segment here real quick. We like to call it WNBA for dummies. It's really more for Cappy because he's kind of a dummy. But we love him even though he's a dummy. Shout out yesterday to Caitlin Clark and the Fever. An incredible game. I got to watch the end of the game, basically the last 20 minutes or so of the game. I was out there doing stuff with the kids, and I came back in time to watch the end of that game between Diana Taurasi and the Sun and Caitlin Clark and the Fever. Caitlin Clark and the Fever were down 15 points, came back to win that game. Taurasi was looking great early on, and then Caitlin took over. Point guard Caitlin took over. 13 assists. Her shot wasn't falling the way they wanted her to, I would imagine, but she took over the game in a different way, which I thought was a huge. I know she's had some big assist games, but not in a 15-point comeback.
She's still finding her game.
Right.
Think about it. It's crazy. We know what the game was in college, but she's still finding her game. It's been ups, it's been down, dealing with migraines. Like, she's had a lot to have to deal with, and yet she found a way for a big victory, man. So shout out to her. Shout out to the WNBA. That's not going to be the first time we've seen this.
I can't wait to see what the numbers are like because her and Angel Reese the last Sunday was 2.3 million.
Biggest WNBA
in 23
game
years.
In 23 years.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see what the numbers for the game against Taurasi were. So I think it is a lot more physical basketball. I was talking to somebody who was there in person and said to me, the WNBA game is far more physical than the NBA game. The officials let them get away with a lot more physicality, which they enjoyed, is what they were saying as a viewer in the house. So anyway, cool stuff we wanted to pass along. Big Deal or No Deal next. We got Dealer's Choice coming up. Laker fans, Do we have an emergency Lakers talk today?
Oh yeah, I saw Slee.
Slee is actually doing
Slee's in
Lakers
person.
Talk in studio.
In
so
studio.
Oh, we need to get Slee in here for that last segment.
Slee just walked through here. I saw him. That's why I said what's up to.
Okay, we need to get Slee in here. Laker fans, we're gonna get Slee in here. So we'll do that in the last segment. Big deal or no deal next.
Here is your chance to win your way into Asada Fest, presented by Northgate Market. Be caller 7 right now at 877-710-ESPN. That's 877-710-ESPN, and correctly answer the trivia question based on today's show. So make sure before you call that you've been listening to the show today. You will win a pair of VIP tickets to Asada Fest on July 13th at Rolling Greens in downtown LA. The inaugural Asada Fest is presented by Northgate Market. Call now for your chance to win. All right, guys, so the reigning NBA champs are set to become available for sale, and they're potentially going to fetch a record price for an NBA team. The majority owners of the Celtics will explore the sale of the franchise. Reports came out today, and it's not very often you hear of a professional sports team going up for sale, like pretty much immediately after winning the title. So I figured I'd ask you guys, is this a big deal or no deal? George, you go first.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal whenever something like that happens. I mean, he bought the thing for like $400 million. He's about to sell it for like probably like $5 billion or something crazy like that. So,
I think this is a big deal. And help me out here, George. I believe, look, they just trying to get people. A lot of people think that owners already got it. I think he's just trying to get that return on his investment and still be a part of the minority. Okay? Meaning that there's majority owners and there's minority owners. Let me get my initial investment and some. I've already made it, and I'll still have a little bit of piece of the team. Meaning I may have 5%, maybe less than that. But what does that 5% or less than 5% still get you? Season tickets, floor seats, all the access that you need, and you don't have to worry about the day-to-day anymore. You could be a minority owner. That's what Magic is. Magic ain't the full owner, but you can still have the same privileges of the majority owner. So look, the Dallas Mavericks, case in point. The full owner isn't Mark Cuban anymore. He's a minority.
He owns 27%.
He don't own the majority. He got all his money back. He doesn't have to do the day-to-day. But man, he's still the face of the team. It's the Adelson family, right?
The Sands,
Vegas.
Group, yeah.
So I'm all for it. I understand what he's doing. Get his return on the investment and still keep the perks of being part of the fabric, the ownership, but just not have to do the day to day. I want to do that.
Yeah, it's like you're just kind of hanging out, and it's like you're letting someone else do all the work when you're in a group project.
Yeah,
but
basically.
you get the good grade at the end.
Great way of putting it. That's what it is. It's basically a group project, and now you just show up on presentation day.
Correct.
That's
it.
That's it.
All the fun
Perfect.
stuff.
What's next?
All right, so John Heyman of the New York Post reported yesterday that Kenley Jansen could be traded by the Red Sox and that the Dodgers and Padres like him. So instead of asking you guys whether it's a big deal or no deal, do you think that the Dodgers or Dodgers fans should want Kenley back in Dodgers uniform?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Evan Phillips has been... No, I don't think he's washed. I mean, he's been better than I thought he would be. I thought his last couple years here with the Dodgers weren't what we were used to.
Yeah, and he did get better when he left. That's
Evan
true.
Phillips has been good. Like, I don't really think they need a closer. I mean, if they want... I mean, they don't... Evan Phillips is technically the closer, although they don't really go closer. You know, they have other guys.
Committee.
Not really. It's mostly Evan, but it's like, it's never bad to have more arms in the bullpen. Like I will. It's the most volatile position in all of baseball. So I don't think it's a problem. I think he's pitched. Kenley's been really good this year. But the Red Sox are not a contending team, so I would imagine the Red Sox will deal him. And look, I don't know what his contract situation is. I'd have to look that up. I'm assuming he doesn't have a lot left on his contract. And if that's the case, then if you're the Dodgers, why not? I think it would be cool to have him back in the fold, and you can kind of go and have him and Phillips close games depending on the situation.
I'm going to go with no deal. I mean, outside of LeBron, do reunions really work? Think about it.
There's a reason why it ended the first time,
Think about it, right? Do reunions work? It's like breaking up and then getting back together. Do reunions really work?
Yeah. By the way, Kenley in the last year of a deal with Boston.
Yeah. Something bringing him back, does that bring back memories for Dodgers fans on his last little part where you got nervous every time he took the hill at the end of a game?
People freaked out every time.
So you want to relive those moments again? That's why I said this is no deal, man. This is no deal because reunions very rarely work. I'll give LeBron his reunion with Cleveland. That is probably the most
still in his prime,
famous
when he came back.
Cleveland, this is for you.
But outside of that, reunions are, tough, because you're never getting the player who you once got. So to get Kenley, you're not even getting that Kenley.
It's like you're just trying to bring back a little bit of magic, or I don't know. I feel like it's usually for the wrong reasons, right?
Not turn back the clock day.
Yeah.
Although Kenley has been really good this year. Kenley looked this year like the Kenley from like pre-2017 and earlier.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know how sustainable that is at 36 years old.
And then pressure moments in Los Angeles, they're gonna have some leads.
Yeah.
And plus, it's the first half of the season, and a lot of times it's like
A guy like that could fade later in the
Yeah.
year. But that's why maybe you bring him in as the 8th inning guy or the 7th inning guy. You know what I mean? Like, or just whatever. You know, like maybe that's what they're thinking. Who knows?
As a role player, wow.
Yeah, I
mean,
as a
he's-
role player, I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah, he's over.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Role player, but as to be a number one closer, nah.
All right, what's next?
All right, so Chicago Bears safety Jonathan Owens married U.S.
Simone Biles.
Yes.
Yeah.
He married her 2 years ago. And now, obviously, like I said earlier, she's heading back to the Olympics. She will compete in the Paris Olympics in the gymnastics. And this is the first time since they got married that she's actually going to be competing on a stage like this during training camp for the NFL. So apparently the Bears have granted him permission to go over to Paris so he can be there to support his wife during the Olympics. And people online seem to be kind of like split about this because he's missing half of training camp or whatever so he can go see his wife. So some people are like, hey, that's not your this is your job. You get paid to go to work. And then the other half is like, oh, this is great. He's there supporting his wife. So do you guys think that him missing some time in training camp is a big deal or no deal, Kirk?
No deal. It's not a big deal at all. This is just a no deal. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I think that if every player or coach has that opportunity to do that, they would hopefully be allowed to go over there. They signed him in free agency, so I don't think he's not in jeopardy of making the team by no means. Look, we know their story, and for him, it was kind of funny. Everybody's talked about it. That she's had to come out and publicly stand up for him because he said, "Look, I didn't know who she was because I always had training camp. So I didn't watch the Olympics in the summer. So for him to be able to go out and watch her and be there, be her support,
and they call
that's pretty
him
cool.
Simone Biles' husband.
Simone Biles' husband, yes.
Instead of
I mean, as long as he's not taking too much time off, great. But I think for him to be over there being support, I think that's huge. So I'll give them a no deal. That's nothing big. You think it's a big deal?
Nah. It's his lady, man. Let him his wifey. Let him go see her.
Now, if it was Aaron Rodgers, that'd be a big deal.
She's about to become the most decorated gymnast ever.
Correct.
Come on.
So speaking of that, I want to ask you one last quick thing for a big deal or no deal.
Yeah.
So it came out today that, Aaron Rodgers did miss mandatory minicamp camp, and nobody knew why. And it came out today that he actually missed it because of a pre-planned trip to Egypt. I don't know why he was planning a trip to Egypt during minicamp. Because I feel like, isn't it always the same time every year? But anyway, the fact that he missed mandatory minicamp, which, it's Aaron Rodgers, he's the quarterback.
Right.
To go to Egypt, is this a big deal or no deal?
I'll pass.
You don't want to answer?
I don't want to answer.
Why?
Because if they're losing, it's a big deal. If they winning, it's no deal. So it's honestly
you want to wait to evaluate.
The answer is evaluation. It's how they start off the season. Week 1 in San Francisco against the 49ers. They win that game, we're not talking about it. They lose that game. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, he missed mandatory minicamp because he had to be in Egypt. Over there in the tombs.
Don't you think
going to go see mummies?
It's already off to a bad start. This whole him returning is already off to a horrible start. This just been nothing but drama.
I mean, last year the NFL put together a campaign to bring back the Jets, and they got screwed. They had the Jets in 6 primetime games. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt on the 4th play of the season, and they couldn't. The Jets were horrible, and they weren't horrible, but it was a tough watch offensively last year. They're giving Aaron Rodgers and the Jets one more year. They're giving him one more year to make all the wrongs
right. Is it going to work?
Right. It's going to be compelling TV. Okay. Aaron Rodgers is going to be the topic of conversation as the season comes along.
Can't wait.
It's going to be fun. Hopefully they're winning, because if they're winning, everything will be fine. If they're losing, oh man. You already know ESPN Greeny, our guy, man. They're going to be leading with Jets talk on Get Up every morning. I love it.
All right. That is Big Deal or No Deal. Coming up next, Dealer's Choice.
We're going to have Emergency Slee.
Emergency Slee is our
Emergency
Dealer's
Slee,
Choice.
yes.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Emergency Slee.
In just a second.
Sedano and Kap final segment, your Monday afternoon. Thanks to Kirk Morrison for sitting in for Cappy. This is our final segment music. We'll see you tomorrow, 4 o'clock, a live imaging Tuesday. Only about an hour of it for this show. It's a long story. I'll explain it more tomorrow. Plus, we'll tell you about producer D's amazing impersonations. Plus, more Asada Fest tickets. Don't miss it. Right now, though, Sedano and Kap, your final segment, Monday afternoon, right now.
She stood there bright as the sun on that cloud.
All right, well, you guys go get Emergency Slee here, but let me tell everybody, All-Star Friday night is right around the corner. That means it's time again for our All-Star student nominations, thanks to Rotolo Chevrolet and Composio Buick GMC. If you know a student that's an All-Star in the classroom and in their sport and in the community, go to espnla.com to nominate your students. Parents, friends, family, teachers, and coaches can all participate in nominating an All-Star student. Go to espnla.com today to do so. Rotolo Chevrolet and Composio Buick GMC. Come see what the fun is all about. All right, so let me know when Emergency Slee is available. So I was looking at, everyone keeps asking me about what events I can go see in Paris while I'm there.
Yes.
The problem is I can't because their opening ceremonies are the day I leave. So but usually they have a few events before, right? Before the actual opening ceremony. The problem is they're really far. They're in Nice, which is on the other side of the country.
Yes,
so
I do know that.
There's no easy way to get there.
I do know that.
And I am going to the airport, and it's like 2 days before I have to go back to the airport. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have planned it differently because I could have seen Team USA play some soccer. The women's team is going to be in Nice on the 25th. but too quick of a turnaround if I got to go back to the airport anyway. And there's no hotels in Nice right now.
I have the Warriors statement on Klay Thompson.
I did. I saw it too.
Is it? What do you
Come
think
in,
of it?
Slee.
We can't overstate Klay Thompson's incredible and legendary contributions with the Warriors during his 13 years with the team, highlighted by 4 NBA titles, 6 trips to the NBA Finals, 5 NBA All-Star Game appearances, several NBA records, including the most points ever scored in a quarter, 37. Bay Area natives and Dub Nation supporters all around the world have been immense and cannot be minimized. His penchant for delivering in pressurized situations on the biggest stage, including Game 6 heroics, has helped define a career. Klay's legacy will live on forever, and we look forward to the day that we retire the number 11 jersey at the Chase Center, where he will join a host of Warrior immortals, including those who helped shape the recent dynasty.
There you go. Klay
Lakers
Thompson
missed out on that.
Almost a Laker.
Almost,
Slee.
Almost a Laker Klay. I like that. We almost got Klay.
Yeah. Is today an emergency Lakers talk or just it's a standard scheduled Lakers talk?
Schedule. Yeah. I do like the sense of urgency. Like it's, it is Mondays at 7, but that's okay. We could just call it a sense of urgency. I think we all kind of feel that way.
Well, you gotta calm people down.
I mean,
tonight,
they
right?
struck out.
Yeah,
they've struck out today.
I know.
There's no way around it. I don't care what anybody wants to say.
Oh no, you're not wrong.
They have struck out today.
Well, I think if you let's go a little bit further since the offseason started. All right, they get eliminated by Denver. Nothing has gone. The only thing the playoffs gave you was it became clear just how far you are from competing with Minnesota.
Right.
Dallas gets to the NBA Finals.
OKC, by the way, who's gotten better.
Oh my God, OKC is what they've done in this offseason.
Right.
They're obviously only getting better, and I know you're a big fan of what JJ Redick can be. JJ Redick wasn't Plan A. Dan Hurley was. So we spent 4 or 5 days talking about Dan Hurley. Is he going to come to the Lakers?
Was Dan Hurley really Plan A?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was.
You think so?
I think if they
I think he was Plan A.
You think so?
I think he was Plan A once they realized there may be even an outside chance to get him.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I never believed it for a day in my life. I never believed it. I know it's another story for another day. I just never believed it.
I think no matter how you look at it, it's that guy was in the mix and he chose UConn.
Right.
Maybe he was in play. Maybe he was just using it for leverage.
I think so.
But nothing from the start to where we're sitting today can you really look at this Lakers team and say, okay, hey, you know what? This happened or that happened. It really hasn't. Now, I will give them credit. They if Dalton Connect is a good pick at number 17.
I think he will be.
Maybe he is, but that's also a development pick. That's going to take some time.
No, I think he can plug and play.
Okay, but even if he comes in next year and he has some type of impact, will that be the difference? Will that be
that's not enough to get you into championship contention.
And that's the point, right? And I think what you just said, George, about swinging and missing, there is no other way to put it. There's other guys that have gone in other places that have not chosen the Lakers.
I have said this for months. Okay? Even actually longer, going back since last year.
Yeah.
And I've gotten a lot of heat for it, especially when he started to play better. But I have said they needed to trade D'Angelo Russell whenever they had the chance because I don't think he's the player that they need, okay, in a lot of ways. And again, that's not a knock on him as a player. He's a good player, but they need a very good to great player. And he's not capable of that consistently enough. And I think the biggest problem they have there is that they mistakenly gave him a contract that they thought they'd be able to move later. And the market has shown us that is absolutely not the case. A big misjudgment there by this organization, giving him a nearly $20 million contract and not being able to use it as a chip because basically the rest of the market has told you, nah, he's not that player.
Can you imagine start of next season he's still there? By the way, I think you and I are on the same page in this. God bless D'Angelo Russell. I'm not telling you that the guy can't hit threes. If I'm building a championship team, I don't see D'Angelo Russell on that team.
Right.
I just don't. And if he was being waved around basically all of last year up until the trade deadline, and we didn't even have to get to an hour into today about the Klay stuff, once that breaks, that, hey, the Lakers were dangling, it was Chris Haynes, I think, reported it, that they were trying to give do a sign and trade. D'Angelo goes to the Golden State Warriors. Warriors are like,
no way in hell.
We ain't doing Why would they take him? They have no reason.
They've
to.
already had it. They know what he is.
We know what it is.
Might have been second round over there too. He's got 2 rounds with the Lakers and 2 rounds with the Warriors. But I just say that because.
And by the way, part of the job as a front office is to know even before you're going into this.
Is that team interested in that guy?
Yes. Right. You have to have some intel on that. Sure. Let me tell you something I know about D'Angelo Russell's stay at Golden State. There's not a lot of fans there, is what I would say. And if I know that, shouldn't other people know that? Like, I'm not Woj, you know what I'm saying? Sure. I'm not Shams. Sure. I'm just a guy who happens to work in the league, right? Hey and there. Works games.
I'm George Sedano.
No, that doesn't mean crap, okay? If I know that, you should have that intel, okay? So that is another misjudgment there. So that means you should have done what Dallas did, which is let's get off of Hardaway, okay? Create one of those trade exemptions, right?
Had more money to offer.
Correct. But you didn't do that. And so when we sit here and talk about this franchise and where it's at, we talk about the head coach being new to the situation. I feel like I've literally said this when they hired Darvin. Okay? Yep. I'm going to say the same thing I said then. This front office is still also learning on the job to some extent.
Okay. Well, I'll disagree with you on that.
The moment you said about Dallas made the trade exemption, yesterday I'm listening to their NBA Today, everybody's doing. Windhorse is on, and Windhorse said exactly what you said. I just want you guys to remember something, as it's going to be Lakers or it's going to be Dallas. Dallas is already one step in front of the Lakers because they had already made that trade exception, and they already kind of put themselves in a position where we can offer more money. Oh, by the way, it's Texas, it's state tax, everything else. Yeah, listen, it's critical. I remember when. It's funny that you mentioned the Darvin Ham thing, too. A week ago today, J.J. Redick was being announced, and I kept saying to myself, I'm like, we just did this 2 years ago. Here we are sitting at a stage where the Lakers, if they are not able to make a move, or they're able to make a move that's lateral, it's the worst position to be in, where you're not good enough to compete for a chip, and you're not bad enough to actually rebuild your roster.
Right.
So
you're
with
in
all the smoke and we ain't ducking no fade.
Purgatory a little bit.
I do want to know this though too. I get it that you have a lot of players who are either free agents or have possibilities. How many are basically saying, I want to go play for a rookie head coach who has no coaching experience? Great player, but do I want to go spend the better years of my career or what I have left in a coach who's trying to figure it out? Or at least go to someone who's already been in the fire? If I'm Klay,
what do you think, George?
It's
a good question. It's a good question.
Or do I want to go with the podcast guy?
I think guys make decisions mostly on a combination of how much money am I going to make and what are my chances of winning.
Or who's my boss.
I think that's down the. I'm not saying it's insignificant. I'm just saying
the players.
It's not at the top of the list, in my opinion.
Who the Lakers are going after? Yeah. If I was a young guy, under 25, send me anywhere.
Don't matter.
It don't matter.
I want to make money.
We talked about the young Kuzma earlier. I'm trying to make money.
Jordan Poole.
These guys, I'm trying to make money. Now you talking about this older 30, 32 guys who can come in and play right away. Is that appealing? Rookie head coach with no coaching experience. How are you going to use me?
Yeah,
how are you going to use me, coach?
I don't know. I don't the answer to that.
I can't even watch film to say what the guy in my position plays.
Is that a Klay specific example? Are you saying I could go to Dallas, Jason Kidd's there?
I'm leaving Steve Kerr for J.J. Redick. At least I know what Jason Kidd can do.
That's interesting.
I can't even say that about
I think
J.J.
that
Redick.
I think that Klay was looking for the combination of the two things I talked about, which are money and chances to win.
Yeah.
You're talking about a team who's just in the finals, and you're talking about what can I canvas in the league to make the most money. I don't think the state income tax is, or lack thereof, is a small thing. His agent even talked about it. I do think
I think it's coaching, dog.
Yeah, but I don't think that's like a main reason.
I think so.
I don't buy it for a second when it comes to NBA players. I think I think those guys want to get paid and they want to win. And
could-
now
it could-
the
it could be- it could be
coaching,
as quick as
it could be
KD
the
ran out of
icing-
Steve Nash. They
but
ran
the-
that dude up out of there.
but the coaching could factor into the winning. I'm not disputing
Right.
that part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's the top of the list.
It could be the icing on the cake. Like
Yeah.
it could be.
I think when
I'm
you-
already
yeah.
leaning towards this way, and
Right.
I lean even more because I know that coach is there and
Right,
he's
J Kid
established.
got him to the finals.
Yeah.
So-
It was something I was thinking about last night. Like if it comes down to it, and you start putting out
Advantage,
the positives,
disadvantage there. Yeah.
At the end of the day, is it going to be Klay's fault if the Mavericks don't win? Like, no, not necessarily, because you're still going to be
It's
Lucas
Luka first
and
and
Kyrie
Kyrie
second.
second. Yeah.
Well, they got to do something.
He come to the Lakers.
We're
Like,
still sitting here in a week, and they've done nothing.
so what do you do? Well, who are you waiting? Who would Laker fans be like? Oh, we got better today, because right now we're just looking.
There's
at
not
it.
a lot left.
Ain't nothing
Basically
there that
got-
makes you feel good.
By the way, the DeRozan stuff. Do you think I don't think
I
DeRozan's
don't-
taken a mid-level.
I don't either. I said that during crosstalk. I was like,
why,
what are we?
why would he?
Yeah.
I don't think he has a reason to. Why would he take a mid-level?
So
biggest
remember
name
the last
available.
time we were here with DeRozan, everyone thought he was going to take the mid-level. Then he ended up getting $28 million. So I don't buy that for 1 second.
Yeah, the only other player I could think of, and again, it's going to be challenging. Brooke Lopez's name was thrown out there.
I'd love Brooke Lopez, but you got to deal for him.
Yeah.
And who do you
Who
got
do
to
you give
deal?
up?
You can't
And
deal.
what does Milwaukee want that you have?
Right, but here's the thing: you're not. I'm not trading Austin Reeves for Brooke Lopez.
No, that's not happening.
I would have traded Austin Reeves for DeJounte Murray.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked about this a million times over. You got to use that chip at some point. Yes, he is outperforming his contract, or will continue to outperform his contract. But so can DeJounte Murray. He's only making $25 million.
Sure.
And in today's NBA, that's a good number for a guy who's already been an All-Star.
Milwaukee had to watch Drew Holiday hold up another trophy.
Right, they're not
without
doing
him.
with that Brook, and you're not getting him for D'Lo. That's for sure.
They
No,
want
they
the
don't need
farm.
him.
They
Yeah,
want
they
the
don't need
farm.
D'Lo.
Like, yeah, we let one of our core pieces go, and that dude just signed a new contract and got trophies now.
Yeah.
That's Milwaukee wants more.
All right, what's on the show? We got a break here.
We'll take some calls. Jovan Buhaj 7:30, and
Jovan Buhaj. Cappy's gonna miss it.
Well, Cappy, Chris too.
Yeah.
Chris is probably devastated right now that Jovan's on
Gonna
today.
miss Jovan. I'm gonna be listening. What time, Jovan?
7:30.
Oh, I'm in. All right. Kirk, great job, brother.
All good, brother.
Thank you, Lindsay, DeAndre, Funchy, The Circle, everybody. Christopher,